afternoon, Brian. See if he can continue this run and continue your run. 50 years is press officer of Ashen. Hope there's many more for you to come. Colin.
Thank you very much, Paul. And of course, the Brian is what he is. Exceptionally helpful, Brian, and has been for a number of years. So always good to hear him on the radio as well. We will do our local football roundup as normal at 5:45 this evening. No Women's Championship fixtures this weekend, or the next couple of weekends, actually, because England are playing. But we've got 4 teams in the second round of the Women's FA Cup tomorrow. Newcastle United are away at Chorley. Chesterley Street Town at home to Spennymoor. Alnwick away at Burnley. Durham Sestria away at Liverpool Feds. So hopefully all 4 of them, plus Durham and Sunderland, will be in the third round draw, which takes place on Monday afternoon. And that is when the championship teams come into the competition. And now our third commentary of the weekend is tomorrow. Newcastle Falcons at home to the Exeter Chiefs in Rugby Union's Premiership. We keep saying it, but we keep saying it because it keeps being true. The Falcons are still looking for their first win of the season. But head coach Alex Codling keeps saying the same things as well every time Dean Gray interviews him, that it's all about improving.
Oh, look, as I said many times, I don't look at the league table. That's not because I'm avoiding the question. It's just the fact that we are a young group. And we'll take the Saracens game away, which we were second best by a distance. But actually, sometimes you realise that you watched the game the following week when they played Harlequins away and did pretty similar things to them. So they are a world-class team. And the other games we've been really competitive. We should have and could have. So the table could and should look very different. It's not. You can't change the past. You can only influence the future. And I said we're really geared up for Sunday, and we know it's a massive game. And everyone here is under no illusion how important it is to get the win.
So there will be live commentary of Newcastle Falcons against Exeter on the BBC Sport website and app from around about 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, with kick-off at 3 o'clock. All 4 of the top 4 in the Premiership were in action last night. So Sale extended their lead at the top of the table with a tense, tight 11-9 victory over Bath. There were points galore, though, in the other one. Northampton Saints eventually beating Harlequins by 36 points to 33. In basketball in the BBL Championship at 5 o'clock tonight, the Newcastle Eagles are away at Surrey Scorchers. They've won 5 in a row, have the Eagles. Jordan Johnson is going for 4 MVP awards in a row as well this evening. In the WBBL, 2 games for us to look out for today. The Eagles are away at Sheffield Hatters at 6 o'clock. That's tomorrow, that one is. Away at Sheffield Hatters at 6 o'clock. But the Durham Palatinates in action today at home to Manchester Giants. They're about to get, in fact, they have just got the final period underway. The Palatinates leading by 58 points to 51. They had a nice big lead after the first period, then lost the next 2, but hold an overall lead of 7 with about 9 minutes remaining in that one. In the darts, the Players' Championship, mixed results for the 2 Bedlington boys in the first round last night. Great result for Chris Dobie, who beat Raymond van Barneveld by 6 legs to 3, but it was the reverse result for Callan Ridds, who was beaten 6-3 by Michael van Gerwen. In Snooker's UK Championship, the first round gets underway, in fact has got underway today, but our interest is tomorrow. Gateshead's Elliot Slessor taking on Zhang Anda at 1 o'clock tomorrow. He spoke to the BBC's Jamie Broughton after Friday night's final qualifying round win over Washington's David Lilly.
It's a funny one, that Barbican. I've been on the tour for 12 years. I've never won a match there, so hopefully I'm due one. But I am just looking forward to it. Like, I wasn't expecting much before this tournament. I haven't been playing well for quite a while now. You sit and ask yourself questions. The amount of times I thought, do I just knock it on the head? Like, because I don't really want to be like what you would class as like a journeyman pro. I've been to the Crucible a couple of times, few semi-finals, but the last couple of seasons I haven't really been performing how I want or how I really should, even in practice as well. So I've changed a few things and actually found a bit of game back.
And fingers crossed that continues tomorrow. It was Thursday night that he beat David Lilly, not Friday night. But the tournament is underway today. Mark Allen's begun the defence of his title against China's Ding Junhui. It's actually a repeat of last year's final. Mark Allen leads by 1 frame to 0. The other match that has started the tournament, Mark Williams against Fan Zhengyi. They are still in the opening frame. In the ice hockey, Whitley Warriors in action twice across the weekend. They're away at Blackburn Hawks at 6 o'clock tonight, and then at home at Hillheads against Nottingham Lions at 5 p.m. tomorrow. A couple of other bits and pieces to finish with then. In tennis, Novak Djokovic and Yannick Sinner are the 2 stars in today's Davis Cup semi-final between Serbia and Italy. The winners will face Australia in the final, which is the whole thing's being held in Spain because Australia beat Finland in the first semi-final yesterday. And Ireland's Katie Taylor says she doesn't think she has ever been more motivated for a boxing fight as she prepares to take on Chantel Cameron in Dublin tonight. Cameron, the Englishwoman, defending her light welterweight belts because Taylor looks to avenge what was her first defeat in her entire career 6 months ago. There is commentary of that one on BBC Radio 5 Live from 10 o'clock this evening. But it is time for us to go our separate ways, so to speak. If you want to listen to Newcastle United against Chelsea with Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson, that build-up and commentary will be on FM. If it's Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett ahead of Sunderland's game at Plymouth that you want, and why wouldn't you? You need to be listening on DAB Digital Radio or Freeview Channel 719. Take your pick now.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
This week, Colette started as our permanent newsreader, and to get to know her, you lot have been sending your questions in. Sarah sent me a message. If Colette had to kill off one Disney character, who would it be?
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty? Why is that?
She's just waiting for a man to change her life, and she's just sleeping. Grow up, Sleeping Beauty. Get a job.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Back Monday morning.
From 6.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Total Sport North East.
The sound of
Newcastle United.
Anderson on the outside. Low cross, Anthony Gordon! Anthony Gordon's first Newcastle goal. Longstaff touch, and his goal from Sean Longstaff. And the Geordie gives Newcastle the perfect start. Joelinton has scored!
Great sport kicks off here.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Well, good afternoon again from St James's. Chilly day here on Tyneside, but it's dry and quite bright, and Newcastle's players are still inside the changing room. We've got the goalkeepers out, and there's quite a few goalkeepers here today because there's Nick Pope playing and then 3 of them on the bench, a substitutes bench that also has 4 academy boys on it. Here come the starting 11 to begin their warm-up. Eddie Howe has had to make changes from the team that played at Bournemouth a couple of weeks ago because of injuries, and also they don't have Lewis Hall today. He's ineligible to play against Chelsea because they are still his parent club. He's on loan to Newcastle from Chelsea until the summer, when his transfer will become a permanent one. So Howe, with around 10 first-team players not available for selection, has set them up like this today. Pope in goal. We expect Livramento to be at right back with Trippier at left back. Lascelles, the captain, and Schär are the 2 centre-halves. Fabian Schär okay after a little bit of concern about a possible injury over the international break. Then in midfield, Lewis Miley, Bruno Guimaraes back from suspension, and Joelinton. And the front 3, Miguel Almiron, Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak. Isak being back is big news up front, Ando, but with Sean Longstaff not playing and Joe Willock missing with what we think is an ankle problem, it almost feels like not necessarily the return of Isak is overshadowed, but it's one step forward and it's a couple of steps back in terms of the state and the health of the squad at the minute.
Yeah, you get one back, but then you lose 2. You know, it's unprecedented, really. You know, it's tough on everybody, and it's not going to get any easier either, Razor, when you look at what we've got within the next 29 days. 8 games in that space of time. It's a tough ask. Eddie Howe will be praying that he can get 1 or 2 others back, but we'll just have to wait and see. Look, it is what it is. It's been a tough L season so far. An awful lot of games. The intensity of those games has been absolutely immense as well, and it's taken its toll on certain players.
But Alexander Isak available again after a month on the sidelines, and with Callum Wilson injured and Newcastle also having 3 matches a week all the way to Christmas, Eddie Howe knows that they have to manage Isak's workload.
We have to be sensible with what we ask him to do. He's obviously going to be hugely important for us. He's a huge player for us. He's got that ability to win us games. but we want him on the pitch as much as we can, and to do that we're going to have to be careful. Alex is a very focused individual. He is very calm in his work. He very rarely shows it sort of too many outward expressions of happiness or anger or disappointment, so he's really level and consistent, but I think he's fiercely determined to do well, and I think that's a great characteristic to have. He's not fazed when he does well or over the top, or the same when he's maybe not performed to his best levels. But I see a real camaraderie, I said before, between him and Callum. They're both pushing each other, and so I think Alex will miss Callum and vice versa when they're not fit, but we certainly back Alex as our striker for now. I don't know if there's anything that he can do that Callum can't, but they are different players. But I do think they've both got core characteristics that we look for. So they're both quick, and they both work hard in and out of possession. They both score goals, and they're both usually in the right areas to score goals. So I think that they're sort of the core characteristics that we really like about both players. I think Alex probably naturally wants to come into slightly deeper areas and rotate his position more rather than being a fixed 9, and that movement gives us different options when we play with Alex in the team. But they're both outstanding number 9s, and yeah, we need them both back fit if possible.
Eddie Howe talking about Alexander Isak and a little bit about Callum Wilson, who he said yesterday they were unclear quite when Wilson will return, but based on previous offerings from Eddie Howe in interviews, it could be around another month. You listen to BBC Radio Newcastle, building up to Newcastle United against Chelsea, and joining John Anderson and I for the next few minutes. So we're pleased to welcome the Chronicle's chief Newcastle United writer, Lee Ryder. Lee, thanks for coming to see us.
Thanks for having me.
It's getting a bit ridiculous, isn't it, the injury list and this whole situation. Maybe Longstaff was expected to miss the game today, even though he carried on at Bournemouth after getting hurt. But Joe Willock, it's kind of come out of nowhere, and well, it's a huge loss.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's been on the eve of the game, but certainly one Eddie didn't have any information on yesterday. As you mentioned before, sometimes one does get thrown in there, but an aggravated Achilles injury is what I'm told is the problem. So it's one he's had before. He was coming back from a hamstring injury in the summer, and then this occurred. I think he's been very unlucky if he's broke down again. How much of a precaution it is, we'll have to wait and see. We'll get more information after the game. But for now, it's a big blow.
Yeah. Thank goodness Isak is fit, and I think that was always the expectation. But as we've just been talking about there, with no Callum Wilson, this time last year they had Chris Wood to fill in when both Wilson and Isak were unavailable. Even if they put Anthony Gordon out of position, it would create a gap that you couldn't really fill with anybody else, because you don't have squad depth at the moment. So Isak back is so important.
Absolutely. It just reminds me of when Alan Shearer played, because at times Alan Shearer carried the team, as you know. I know there's a lot more superstars in this team now, but I remember Alan Shearer once went down. I was watching over there, went down with an injury, and the fans stood up and went, come on, he's all we've got. And really with Isak, in terms of a goal scoring threat at the moment, that is all Newcastle have got, and I think it's really important that they wrap him in cotton wool to get him through this next few weeks. You've got that game against PSG as well. They've just got to really preserve him and make sure that once a game is won, he comes off the pitch.
Bring Ando back in. Ando, looking at the team Newcastle have, even with all of the injuries, and Lee as well in a second, do you think that a team that has Bruno, Joelinton, Isak, Gordon, Almiron, Trippier, Livramento, I've basically named all of them, but do you think that side that Newcastle have, even if there's not much in terms of first team options on the bench, is that good enough? 11 v 11 against this Chelsea team?
Look, let's not kid ourselves. You look at that side, right? It's still a strong side. You've got Pope, who's an international, Shares an international, Trippier international, Bruno international, Joelinton international, Almiron an international, Isak an international. You know, how many internationals have you got on that side? And everybody's gone, oh. It's only when you look at the bench that you've got your problems, because you've got 3 goalkeepers in there. That's still a very, very strong Newcastle side. It might not be the strongest one that he could name, but it's still a strong side.
Yeah, I totally agree. My only concern is if Newcastle do get a result through this and they do sort of drag themselves through the game and they're exhausted going in that PSG game, I think it comes very quickly for them, and I just worry that they're going to be able to get 2 big results from the next 2 games, because they are looking pretty threadbare.
Yeah, it's an important period of the season, and this is the first of 9 fixtures they have in 29 days if you include Luton just before Christmas. I mean, going up to Liverpool on New Year's Day, it's 11 matches that they have to face before they switch to the FA Cup, and they're in 3 competitions. How do you see it at the moment, Lee, in terms of what they might view as a priority? Because they absolutely would want to try and get back to Wembley in the League Cup, and they go to Chelsea again in 3 or 4 weeks, hoping to get through to a semi-final, but they're not out of it in the Champions League, and the Europa League's a possibility, but they want to stay at the top of the Premier League, and it just feels like it's a big ask, given that there's a lot of players out and he's not really relying on seeing some of the injured, certainly in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I said this a few weeks ago, that I think the Carabao Cup is the best chance of winning something, especially if they get through against Chelsea. Any team over 2 legs in the semis, bringing them up here is a great chance. I think they're still in with a real shout in the Carabao Cup. Now, you talk about the league position, you know, dropping from 4th to 7th or 8th or 9th would be deemed a disappointment, especially if there's no trophy to go with that. If there is, then it's obviously progress, winning a trophy. The European situation, I just think with the way it is, if Newcastle are still in European football in spring, whether it's Europa League or Champions League, I think that's a little bit of an achievement, because of the hand they've been dealt with injuries. But I think it's been a learning curve for them. I think Dortmund taught them a lesson one way or another, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm a bit fearful of how angry PSG are for what happened here in the first game. I watched PSG last night on TV, and they dismantled Monaco. They looked very good going forward. Few creaks at the back, but it's going to be a really tough game.
Well, what do you think? Paris Saint-Germain, Ando, angry at what happened here and wanting to respond. I mean, they've got a couple of injuries, haven't they? We're looking ahead to Tuesday now, and one of the goals they conceded last night was from a mistake from goalkeeper Donnarumma playing out from the back, and Newcastle got them a couple of times at St James's playing out from the back.
They scored 5 last night, though.
Yeah, that's what they didn't do here.
Look, they'll be hurting from what happened here. They'll want to put what they feel, put a wrong right, so to speak. They know what's riding on it as well. You know, it's a huge game. For us, it's all about managing the situation and managing the squad. Isak plays here today. For me, he doesn't play on Tuesday night.
Yeah,
I think all of a sudden you've got to put Gordon through the middle.
Then who do you play on the left? Because you can't play Matt Ritchie because he's not in the Champions League squad, and that's the problem they've got, isn't it?
Well, I think it's a big risk. I mean, can Isak get through 90 minutes today? You know, I would doubt very much whether he can. Then do you, because he's been out for a month, do you then throw him into a high-intensity game on Tuesday night after the travelling and one thing and another? You know, so these are questions for Eddie Howe, but first and foremost, they've got to get through today. You know, they've got to. I know it's the oldest cliche in football, but you've just got to take one game at a time and see where it takes you.
100%.
Yeah. You listen to BBC Radio Newcastle, building up to our commentary on Newcastle against Chelsea from 3. We've got Lee Ryder from the Chronicle with us for the next couple of minutes. Eddie Howe has been taking questions in press conferences, Lee, about the January transfer window, and those questions tend to start coming late September, October onwards, really. But one of his points is that it's difficult to know what they'll need in January because they might have a stronger squad at that point. But in your view, do you feel that there is a priority position for them? Because I would say, given the unreliability of Isak and Wilson's fitness, that if they're going to do anything, it's going to have to be centre forward. But that's not, as Ando will probably tell us in a second, centre forward is not easy in January.
Well, they're expensive for a start, so you're going to have to put a lot of money into it. I agree, they need another striker because Callum Wilson traditionally has had injury problems. Isak, in his short history at Newcastle, has has had lots of different problems. I think they need to buy a centre forward. Some of the board members are actually just walking past us now. So
yeah, we'll try to ask them.
We're trying to say it as loud as we can that we need to send a centre forward. But yeah, I think, look, you want to strengthen in every position, and if you want to make that, you know, push for the Champions League once again a reality, then you're going to have to bolster in all three positions. And certainly the centre forward one, we've seen what they're like without Isak and Wilson. They need someone else up there. You can't rely on Gordon to get the goals every week. Joe Linton, it just doesn't cease to amaze me how he was handed the number 9 shirt to begin with when he first came to the club, because he's clearly not a centre forward. He's actually admitted that himself on the record, so he's not a player that I would be looking at for goals. Everywhere else brilliant, but they need another striker is the short answer.
Yeah, because it didn't work last time against Bournemouth, did it, Ando, with Gordon through the middle, and definitely not with Joe Linton through the middle, and that's what Eddie Howe will have as his reserve options over this next period.
Yeah, look, we said at the start of the season that we left ourselves a bit short up top. If anything was to happen to Wilson and Isak, we always knew that there was big possibilities that Wilson could always pick up an injury. And the trouble with Wilson is when he picks up an injury, it's not a week or 10 days.
Yeah.
6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, it's always long-term ones. And that's the concern that you got, because then all of a sudden you put a big workload on Isak, who himself is injury prone to a degree. And I just think trying to get somebody in January is going to be really difficult, because clubs will know you're desperate.
Yeah, they'll see you coming.
And clubs are reluctant to sell goal scorers in January.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter who you go to get, whether it be at the bottom end of the league or the top end of the league.
Yeah.
You know, if you're at the bottom end of the league, they're not going to sell you a goal scorer because they're desperate to get away from that end of the league. At the top end of the league, they're not going to sell you because they're not going to help you out.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a difficult one, it really is. But I mean, you're right, we seen last week at Bournemouth, Gordon doesn't enjoy playing through the middle. He wants to play the channels, he wants to drift out wide. Joe Linton went up there and he looked like a fish out of water. His touch was awful, he kept giving it away, he didn't hold it up. So his options are very limited, you know, but you're hoping that Wilson can come back. I mean, we don't know how long it's going to be, because there's never anything forthcoming from the club to let you know lengthwise how long you're going to be without these players. So we'll just have to wait and see.
One I would just quickly throw in there, just to cause a bit of debate, I guess. You have got Benzema and Ronaldo on the affiliate club's books. Would want to, you know, I know Ronaldo sounds outlandish, but you know, someone like Benzema coming here for 6 months, I don't think the fans would turn it away. You know what I mean? It's 35-year-old striker, loads of experience.
Well, they'd be allowed to do it after the way the Premier League vote went, or maybe they should have just kept Chris Wood last year rather than letting him go. But yeah, striking options definitely limited on Newcastle.
Yeah, you'd do it if you've got the option to bring
out, but Chris Wood not mobile enough, you know, didn't score enough goals.
Well, you've seen that at Nottingham Forest as well.
If I'm perfectly honest, when he was here, we didn't play to Chris Wood's strength.
No.
You know, Chris Wood's strength is attacking stuff in the 6-yard box and in the 18-yard box, going and getting on his head. We didn't do enough of that.
100%. I agree.
For now, Lee Ryder, thank you very much for joining us.
Good
to see you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And
enjoy the game.
You too. Lee Ryder, the chief Newcastle United writer from the Chronicle, with us on BBC Radio Newcastle. Referee today is Simon Hooper from Wiltshire. Last time he took charge of a Newcastle game was in May when they drew with Leeds. He gave them 2 penalties that day. He gave Leeds a penalty as well and sent off one of Leeds' players, so it was eventful for him. On VAR duty is John Brooks, who was also the VAR for the match against Bournemouth 2 weeks ago. Newcastle's team today, there is no Joe Willock. He has aggravated his Achilles, and Sean Longstaff also missing. And Nick Pope in goal, Tino Livramento, Jamal Lascelles, Fabian Schär, Kieran Trippier, Bruno Guimaraes, Lewis Miley, second start for the 17-year-old, and what is a fifth senior appearance in a competitive game for him. Joe Linton, Miguel Almiron, who's overcome a hamstring problem, Anthony Gordon, Alexander Isak, and the bench. Three goalkeepers: Martin Dubravka, Loris Karius, Mark Gillespie. Paul Dummett and Matt Ritchie are on there, and Amadou Diallo, Alex Murphy, Michael Ndaiwani, and Ben Parkinson, 4 players from the academy, all named in the matchday squad by Eddie Howe. We've seen Parkinson came on at Bournemouth. The other 3 haven't made their debut in a competitive fixture, though they did figure for Newcastle in a couple of cases very briefly through pre-season. They're up against Chelsea, who are 10th in the Premier League, with 4 wins, 4 draws and 4 defeats from their 12 matches, and currently sitting 4 points behind Newcastle United, who are in 7th position, and they can't catch them today, obviously, even if they were to be victorious on Tyneside. Now in charge of Chelsea is the former Spurs boss, Maurizio Pochettino, who will know Kieran Trippier very well from their time together in North London. He was given a 2-year deal by Chelsea in the summer, replacing Frank Lampard, and ahead of the game, Maurizio Pochettino has been saying some nice things about Newcastle's Eddie Howe.
He's a great manager, for sure. He's one of the best coaches in England, and of course he deserves his presence. And then we need to remember that he arrived to Newcastle when he was on the bottom of the table, and look where Newcastle is. It's because I think he deserves full credit. The organization, of course, is Dan Ashwood, is Darren Neal, that we know very well that they are doing a fantastic job. But I think Eddie is a great coach. He's young, still young, but with experience. And I think for me, he's one of the best talent, the most talented manager or coaches on England and in Europe.
Total Sport North East.
Live from St James's Park.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Maurizio Pochettino with, Ando, complimentary words there in the direction of Eddie Howe and the job he's done at Newcastle. He's probably a good fit for Chelsea, Pochettino, and it does seem as though things are getting better for them slowly. So much, we spent more than £1 billion since they were taken over last year. A lot of Newcastle fans might be wondering how they're able to do that with financial fair play rules and the profit and sustainability situation that's caught Everton recently. But even with all the change and upheaval, they've picked up a couple of good results before the break.
Yeah, it's taken them a little bit of a while because there's so many new players, and he needed to get rid of a few and get some out of the squad. Last couple of results, I mean, obviously they went to Spurs and won handsomely. Spurs were reduced to 9 men, of course, that day, but you still have to go and beat them. The game against Manchester City that they had was an incredible game of football. I mean, it was one that you couldn't take your eyes off. It was a phenomenal game, fabulous. Didn't matter who you supported, whichever team it was. To watch both of them going toe to toe. Neither of them took a backward step. They both went for it. It was a great game to watch. But he's slowly turning it around. He knows the game. He knows what it's about. As I say, it's taken a little bit of time, but it looks like he's starting to put a stamp on this Chelsea side.
Let's have a quick reminder of the Chelsea team today. The goalkeeper is Robert Sanchez, who we've seen before in the Premier League for Brighton. £23 million was the transfer fee when he moved to Chelsea in the summer. Reece James, who's had injury problems this season, the England international, he's their captain at right back, with Benoit Badiashile and Thiago Silva at centre back. Mark Cucurella at left back for Chelsea today, and no Ben Chilwell for them. Then in midfield, Enzo Fernandez, who for a while, well, for a few months, was the British record signing at £107 million from Benfica in January transfer window, but that was eclipsed by the Moises Caicedo deal in the summer at 115 million. Caicedo's on the bench today, and Enzo Fernandez alongside Conor Gallagher in midfield. And Gallagher is someone who's played in all of Chelsea's matches, so for their activity in the transfer market, it's an academy graduate who's playing regularly in the middle of midfield. In Gallagher, someone who has at times been linked with Newcastle over the last few years. Then the rest of the Chelsea team, Leslie Ugachukwu, who is a 19-year-old French youth international, another player acquired in the summer from Rennes for 23 million. Cole Palmer, who is impressing, the £42 million signing from Manchester City in the summer. All 4 of his goals have been penalties, actually. Cole Palmer and Raheem Sterling, who's got 5 goals this season but scored regularly against Newcastle for his previous club, Manchester City. And then Nicholas Jackson up front, 22 years of age, Senegalese international. He got a hat-trick in the victory against Spurs, and then was also on target in their draw with Man City before the international break. So that's how Chelsea look. The bench is Georgi Petrovic, the goalkeeper, Axel Disasi, Mihailo Mudryk, the Ukrainian winger, Armando Broja, who is only recently back from about a year out with a cruciate ligament injury, and played with Tino Livramento at Southampton a few years ago. We've already mentioned Moises Caicedo, defender Levi Colwill, left-sided player Ian Matson, who won the championship, went on loan with Burnley last season, and midfielder Alex Matos. That's how Chelsea look. And a reminder, Newcastle United are like this today. Pope in goal, Livramento, Lascelles, Cher and Trippier. You'd think Livramento, Ando, would be right back and Trippier would be left back, but
just don't know.
Howe switched it a couple of times recently.
You just don't know. I mean, Livramento looked quite comfortable at left back. You know, he's the 3 games he started, he's played numerous positions and been outstanding in them all. So yeah, we'll wait and see. It wouldn't surprise me to see him starting at left back, because, as I say, he looks capable and he looked very confident playing there. So we'll until they come out and see them line up, we won't really know.
The midfield, Bruno Guimaraes, Lewis Miley, Joelinton, and then the front 3, Almiron, Gordon and Isak. And a bench of Dubravka, Karius, Gillespie, Dummett, Ritchie, Diallo, Alex Murphy and Daiwini and Parkinson. A bench that shows just how stretched and tested Newcastle United's squad is at the moment. And among the players missing out today is Lewis Hall, and he can't play because he's on loan to Newcastle from Chelsea. Hall, 19 years of age, he's started a few games recently in Premier League, Champions League and in League Cup, and we've seen a little bit more of him after a spell as an unused substitute. Someone that Eddie Howe is pretty happy with.
Yeah, I'd say that understanding's improving all the time. I'd say his commitment to his training and all the work that he's done behind the scenes has been really good. He's a talented young player for sure. He's got a beautiful left foot, and he's got a high level of technical ability. So I think he's a player of really high potential. I think that there's a few of his areas of his game that need smoothing out and improving, but that would be no different to any other young player. But we really do believe in him.
What do you think of Chelsea at the moment? Because it seems as though things might be improving. They had a couple of good results before the international.
Yeah, very much so. I think firstly they've got a great manager, someone who's been in the Premier League before and has had success developing younger players, and I think he's a really good fit for Chelsea. I think they're improving every week. You can see his stamp on the team, and they've got high-level players. So, yeah, full credit to him and the job that he's doing. And we know this is going to be a real test because I think, as I said, their level of improvement's very quick. They scored 8 goals in 2 games, and I think 8 goals. Okay, Tottenham had that game was well documented what happened in that game, but 8 goals against Tottenham and Manchester City. So I think we're seeing a team who've got outstanding players, an outstanding manager, now beginning to gel and find their form. So for us, yeah, of course, we'll look at them, we'll analyse their strengths, any areas that we can potentially hurt them, as we will every opposition.
Lastly, how pleased have you been by the way things have gone for you at home this season? Because you've had some big results, the performances have, I think, been pretty good generally, haven't they? And that's where the majority of your Premier League points so far have come. Yeah,
our home form has been very strong, with some difficult fixtures as well. I think you look back at our last league game, Arsenal, here was a really strong performance, dogged performance, full of determination, discipline, quality, and I think the level of opponents going to be very similar for us this weekend. So a similar type performance and atmosphere would be more than welcome.
Total Sport North East.
Matthew Raisbeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Pre-match thoughts from Newcastle United's head coach Eddie Howe speaking to BBC Radio Newcastle yesterday at the training ground in Benton at the Leazes End, one of the giant wall flag surfer banners. We are Newcastle, which has got black and white stripes on it, but it's the black and white is the text, and it's the names of supporters who have contributed to their displays, and the usual smaller individual black and white flags are out as we await the arrival of the two teams, Newcastle and Chelsea. And the point that I put to Eddie Howe there, Ando, about the home form, it's been pretty good here. The Liverpool game was almost perfect, and then it was heartbreaking at the end, but 15 of their 20 points have come at St James's Park, so it's been much better for them than on their travels this season, and most recently against Arsenal here 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, home form's been decent, no doubt about that. Our away form this season hasn't been great compared to last, but I think there's varying reasons for that. I mean, you always want to turn St James into a fortress. You want to make it difficult for sides coming here, and we've been able to do that in the last two seasons, to be fair. Hopefully that can continue here today.
Here are Newcastle United and Chelsea, and last season's game at St James's Park was the last one they played before the break for the World Cup, and a memorable result given to them by a fantastic goal from Joe Willock, who is not in the squad today after aggravating his Achilles. So Willock, we await further information on, but that is the news on him, and Sean Longstaff missing with an ankle problem, one that he picked up at Bournemouth. So there have been a couple of changes to the team. Today it's 3 in total, with Longstaff, Willock and Hall out, replaced by Livramento, Bruno and Isak. Now the high fives between the two sets of players and the official Simon Hooper, the referee, wearing luminous orange, black shorts and socks. Adrian Holmes on the near side, Simon Long on the far side, the assistant referees. Jeremy Simpson is the fourth official, and a reminder that for the second match in a row, John Brooks is the VAR, and he's being assisted by Neil Davies. Newcastle, black and white shirts, black shorts and white socks. Pope in yellow, and Chelsea all in blue with a bit of white trim, and goalkeeper Sanchez wearing green. It is, Ando, a period of the season that will probably go a long way to determining what comes next in the way that they compete in the second half of the campaign, whether they are still in Europe, will they continue in the League Cup, and how the Premier League table will look. It's also something that will affect the January transfer window. this team has never let anybody down, and it's been a brilliant couple of years under Eddie Howe, but it feels like they are really going to be tested, aren't they, now in the next 3 to 4 weeks, given everything that's going on?
Yeah, without a doubt. The next 3-4 weeks can make or break a season, I suppose, if you want to be brutally honest about it. You know, 9 games in 28 days, 29 days, whatever it may be. It's a tough ask, especially with the injury situation that we've got. We're really limited at this moment in time. You know, not that long ago we were looking at a bench and going, oh, all of a sudden we've got a bench that if it's not going well, you can turn around and look and see players on there who can come on and influence a game for you. You look at this game bench today and all of a sudden there's 3 goalkeepers is the first thing you see, you know. So yeah, difficult one. I mean, Eddie Howe will be praying that nobody in this starting 11 picks up any knocks or any injuries today, that's for sure.
That, along with the results, is the key thing for Newcastle United, whose players break away from a huddle. Chelsea's are lining up, ready to kick off. They are going to shoot towards the Leazes end. That's to the left as we look. It's up the hill, which is how they want it in the first half. And we're almost ready to go. They will move up a place, Newcastle, if they win today, from 7th to 6th, above Manchester United, who play at Everton tomorrow. And we're underway. BBC Radio Newcastle, NUFC TV. Chelsea have got us started. There are 15 seconds on the clock. Reece James with a run down the near side and out for a throw. And it's Livramento
at left back,
left back, and Trippier at right back.
Yeah, no qualms about that. The boy's done well there. He's confident enough. He's got ability, no problems.
So James will take a throw now for Chelsea, who've won the ball back, and he's played it to Thiago Silva. It's given away. Livramento, whose career began at Chelsea in the academy, up to Gordon. What a lovely flick inside to Miley in midfield. Out to Almiron, laid off back to Lascelles. Almiron got a shove to the floor. Referee didn't see a foul, and then Trippier playing handball. It down the line. Handball against Raheem Sterling. So free kick for United on halfway. They haven't given us a TV monitor again, so we're without replays.
Haven't been paying the bill, Razor. Haven't been putting the 10p in the slot.
Trippier to take it. Newcastle have pushed up. They're about 10 yards outside of Chelsea's penalty box. Trippier from halfway hangs it up, looking for Lascelles and Miley at the edge of the area. A couple of challenges, and then it wouldn't quite drop for Isak before it's cleared. Livramento battling for the ball with Jackson on halfway, and then headed on by the Chelsea forward, but volleyed back by Trippier to Pope. 0-0 after almost 2 minutes. Down the Newcastle right by the goalkeeper. Cucurella away. Trippier volleys forwards, and Benoit Badiashile nods it back to Robert Sanchez. Well, it's picked up by the keeper and dropped at the feet of 39-year-old Thiago Silva. He's started all of Chelsea's league games this season. Cole Palmer, left-footed ball on to Conor Gallagher on halfway left side. Now it's Sterling wanting to take on Trippier, doesn't. It's back to Enzo Fernandez, and now Reece James controls the ball on the right side. Joelinton nips in to win it, and Livramento to Gordon, into Joelinton. He's got a challenge coming in on him from Ugachukwu, and now Palmer to Gallagher. Joelinton wins it back, still with Chelsea though. Ugachukwu has it, and Palmer, Gordon closing down, but moved out to the near side by the visitors. James swings in across, nobody making the run round the back. Trick can't let it go because Sterling closed him down. Newcastle now clear it into the middle of their half, but Badiashile with a pass has given it to Almiron. Not much up ahead in black and white, but he's found Isak on the halfway line, down the right wing. Isak now in the middle of Chelsea's half, inside to Bruno, back through, looking for Alexander Isak. The ball's bounced, and then he's tried to turn in the box, and Cucurella makes the challenge. I wonder if he could have hit that as it was dropping. Cucurella's then given it straight to Bruno, but his touch forwards sees Chelsea win the ball back. Then Joelinton with a challenge, then Sterling with a challenge for Chelsea, and Jackson now just outside the area. Good feet, Nicholas Jackson wanting to get the shot off. Challenge from United, and Lascelles plays it out to Trippier on the right. It's into Almiron, who turns away from Ugachukwu and on to Gordon. Isak making the run through the middle for Gordon's ball, but Sanchez comes to the 18-yard line to clear.
Yeah, and then stuff. I mean, Jackson just doesn't see the picture, does he? You know, talking to people, he likes to get shots away, plays with his head down. Had players right and left, couldn't pick one out. All of a sudden we go the other end, just a little bit too much on the ball forward.
BBC Radio Newcastle, 5 minutes played. Lascelles now with the ball in the middle of Newcastle's half has gone for the switch. Nottingham Forest lead Brighton by a goal to nil through Anthony Elanga. Brighton, the team directly below Newcastle in the table, in 8th. Share towards Miley, takes a touch, Fernandez behind him, and under pressure gives it back to Lascelles. Almiron to Miley, and then the 17-year-old trying to find Isak, who's got to the ball first, and it's out off Badiashile, the French international. And the touch from the Chelsea defender gives Newcastle this throw on halfway. Trippier into Bruno, who, like Joelinton, has dyed his hair, and it's almost white, isn't it? Both of them. Share
was in between Gordon and Livramento, both left it for each other.
It's gone for Chelsea ball for the throw. Fabian Schär with yellow boots on today, matching the yellow ball that the Premier League uses in the winter months. James down the line, Gordon got there before Palmer, and another throw for Chelsea and Reece James to take. Eddie Howe, arms down by his side, watching as the ball's thrown back into play. Joelinton putting James under pressure, and it's Thiago Silva passing it back to the goalkeeper. Sanchez ball to Cucurella, takes a touch. Almiron with a challenge and an illegal one, says referee Simon Hooper.
Yeah, he just got across him, didn't he, Cucurella? Just knocked him in the back.
And the free kick on the left, middle of Chelsea's half, in the 7th minute, 0-0. No chances to speak of yet. Sanchez, big kick from the 6'6" goalkeeper onto the head of Livramento, finding Bruno, takes it down, moves it inside away from the midfielder Ugachukwu. Miley holding off a couple of Chelsea players and getting the ball back to Lascelles under pressure. Again, keeping Newcastle in possession. Pope with a short pass to Schär, carries it away from the edge of the box into the middle of the half, closed down by Gallagher, and then hangs up a high ball to Trippier on the touchline, far side, floated into the direction of Isak at the edge of the area, headed away by Badiashile. Fernandez, nice turn. He's taken 2 Newcastle players out of the game, and Cucurella leading the Chelsea attack here. 4 options for him. He's given it to Gallagher in the middle. Palmer then clipping it into the box. Schär heads away. Livramento to Joelinton, and now Gordon into midfield to Bruno, but recovered by Cucurella. And Thiago Silva just behind halfway, right-hand side. Joelinton closing down. It's Leslie Ugachukwu making only a 2nd Premier League start, 19 years of age. It's a big lad in the middle of midfield. He's turned away from Isak there behind the centre circle. Then Enzo Fernandez, Argentinian international, to the far side. Cucurella to Gallagher. Chelsea driving towards the Newcastle box. Gallagher's gone a long way, and dragged the shot wide in the end.
Yeah, can't let him run that distance. Somebody's got to come out and face him up. Just let him run, and he's see what he's trying to do. He's trying to whip it into that bottom left-hand corner, but didn't get enough bend on it.
Newcastle 0, Chelsea 0. That's John Anderson, Magpies match summariser, the former Newcastle and Ireland defender. Pope's got Cher and Lascelles in the box, but goes long through the middle instead with the kick, and it's towards Joelinton. Ugo Chukwu makes the challenge. Chelsea have the ball through Cole Palmer. Livramento gets a block in, and back it goes to Thiago Silva. Palmer from the middle of midfield all the way to the goalkeeper. Jason Tindall gets off the bench, goes to join Eddie Howe. Badia Shield back to Sanchez. Newcastle on the edge of the Chelsea area, closing down, but it's rolled down the right side to Reece James, then into midfield. Jackson gets to the forward ball before Fabian Schär does, lays it off, and this is good football by Chelsea. And a tackle by Trippier to win the ball back from Sterling on the far side. Almiron then into Schär. He's played it to the right to Lascelles, out to Trippier, down the line to Almiron, still in their half Newcastle. Almiron coming into the midfield area now with the ball. And he's played the pass to Schär, 5 yards in front of the penalty box. Now Fabian Schär gets it back from Lascelles. And they've slowed the game down. Lewis Miley offers himself as an option short. It's forwards to Bruno instead. Gordon into central midfield from the left wing to Joelinton, back to Lascelles. Trippier's pushed on down the right, and Lascelles with the pass to find Trippier. Now they're into Chelsea territory, and this is helped down the line by Miley to Almiron in the right corner. Turns back onto his left, and then Trippier sends in a great ball. It's headed clear by Chelsea. Livramento trying to keep it alive but can't get there, and Palmer, chased by Gordon out to the near side, has only succeeded in giving the ball back to Newcastle. Gordon onto Miley, Almiron free, and the ball finds Almiron, takes it with his left, heading in towards the box. He's pushed the pass forwards, out to Miley, back to Trippier, hangs up the cross this time, but too high for Joelinton at the back post.
Yeah, great header by Reece James. Joelinton has come flying in on that. You expect them to get a header on it. James seen him come and got a good defensive header on it.
I think someone's going to bring us a TV screen, Ando, so that we can assess the replays and take another look at the action. Fortunately, there's been nothing controversial yet. Chelsea back to the goalkeeper, Newcastle pressing, and Sanchez out of play. Jason Tindall tosses the ball to Tino Livramento, just in front of halfway on the near side, and they have a throw. Joelinton makes a run into space behind Livramento, controls it, and inside to Lascelles. Out to Trippier, down the line, over halfway to Almiron. Now he gets moving, gets going. Trippier available ahead of him. He's rolled in, Trippier, no offside. Almiron with it again, back down the line for Trippier. He's got a bit of space, and it's a floated ball which might leave the penalty area. In fact, Gordon's brought it down and then carried it out of the box, then turned and come inside. Joelinton, Lewis Miley takes a touch, rolls it through for Isak, and that is a really well taken goal. Alexander Isak is back, and is back among the goals. His 8th of the season. Gordon kept it alive into Joelinton, and then young Lewis Miley with the through ball. Isak took it on the turn and finished past Robert Sanchez, and in the 13th minute it's Newcastle United 1, Chelsea 0.
Oh, it's a great little ball through, good touch. Once he's got hold of it, there's only one outcome, and it's a great finish. Doesn't panic, just strokes it home.
Well, that's what they've missed when they haven't had a centre forward or a striker on the pitch, and Isak with a lovely finish right-footed from inside the penalty area, and they take an early lead at St James's against Chelsea. And Isak moves clear of Callum Wilson at the top of their goal-scoring charts. And Newcastle are looking, after winning the ball back from the kick-off, to get another one. Lascelles onto Miley, fouled by Badiashile. Referee let it go after a foul on Gordon because they had the ball and played with advantage.
Foul on Gordon.
Well, he signalled play on as if it was an advantage, but they've got a free kick this time in the Chelsea half.
And then it felt a little bit flat, but not anymore.
After Isak scored. BBC Radio Newcastle 1-0 up. Bournemouth are 1-0 up at Sheffield United through Marcus Tavernier. Free kick then, good 40 yards out. On the right, Lascelles and Cher and Joelinton are in the D. It's whipped in by Trippier towards Cher, of the three of them, and then away by Chelsea. But Almiron wins it back from Sterling, goes on the outside of Ugo Chukwu. Almiron from the left. It's a dinked cross, it's too low, and it's headed away by a stooping Reece James, but then Gordon's won it back from Gallagher, who has tripped him, and it's a free kick, but it's not going to be anything more.
Why didn't Almiron, as soon as he's knocked it by, why didn't he just whip it? He always has to have that extra touch, and the cross is awful.
And that was with his left.
Yeah.
Jamal Lascelles is pitch side at the moment with Jason Tindall, but there's no injury. Tindall's pulled back into the technical area by the fourth official. Lascelles sent into the penalty box. Must have been some instructions and information for the skipper. He'd love to get on the end of this, wouldn't he? From Kieran Trippier, 20 yards out, 5 yards in from the left touchline. One Chelsea player in the wall, it's Jackson. Trippier with a bit of whip, sending it in. Cucurella away, it's come out to Almiron, 30 yards from goal. Pinged back out to Trippier, good pass. Trippier on his chest, then floated into the penalty area. Lascelles goes for it, and then it's volleyed by Miley, but blocked on the way through, and Cucurella away, and Almiron wins it from Cucurella. Out on the far side, into Bruno, back to Almiron, and it's gone for a throw, not far from the corner flag. Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0 in the 17th minute.
Yeah, got them on the ropes. Got Chelsea pinned in. Can't get out.
Trippier to take the throw. Everybody barred Jackson pretty much in the box or close to the edge of it. Jackson's in the middle of the Chelsea half. Here's the throw, headed away by Cucurella. They went along the goal line towards Isak. Newcastle then have it back. Miley doing well. Bruno now, and then Miley again on the right wing, back through for Bruno. Breaks into the box. It's blocked. His attempted cross, and then cleared by Chelsea. Now Cher here dealing with a bouncing ball and heading it away from Sterling and to Trippier on the right wing.
Chelsea just don't get out quick enough. Just sitting in.
Trippier to Lascelles. They have switched Lascelles and Cher, with Lascelles now at the left and Cher right centre-back. Remember, Trippier right back, Livramento left back. This is Fabian Cher. And that's a ball down the right side. Cucurella controlled it and then lost it under his feet, but recovered to play it back to Sanchez in the nick of time. Ugo Chukwu is getting a bit of rough treatment from Joelinton. Chelsea still have possession, left side in their half. Now Enzo Fernandez onto Conor Gallagher. There's a bit of space here for Chelsea, who are attacking through Reece James. Lots of black and white shirts back. It's Jackson on the right side. Gallagher stopped by Gordon. Livramento will get there and keep it in before the ball went out for a corner, and he's cleared it to halfway where Thiago Silva plays it to Leslie Ugachukwu. And a bit of possession now for Chelsea, having gone behind to the Isak goal here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Cucurella, Sterling with an opportunity to run down the left wing, but straight into Trippier, and Miley's got it over to the left of midfield, left of centre midfield to Joelinton, then played back to Cher, and he switches it to Livramento. Good first touch with his right foot to take him forwards. Oh, Anthony Gordon slipped, and then Livramento's carried on a great run, but Gordon stayed down and then put the ball out, Livramento, because Gordon, as he was coming short, John Anderson, for the ball,
just lost his footing, didn't he?
Slipped, and he's holding his right thigh, but he's now slowly trying to pull himself up, so hopefully he'll be okay. Eddie Howe's come off the bench to talk to Gordon. They haven't sent the physio on, and he's okay. He's back on his feet. Jamal Lascelles, in the meantime, is changing his boots, and when the match resumes, hopefully Gordon will show no ill effects from that, and Chelsea will have to give the ball back to Newcastle, won't they, in accordance with the way things are done. Joelinton's gone down now. A problem with some part of his left leg, but he's been touching all of his left leg, so I'm not sure which bit. It's Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0 across the river at the International Stadium. Former Newcastle goalkeeper Rob Elliott now in charge of Gateshead, and in a National League playoff position. They are 1-0 up on Southend, so it's going well for Gateshead this afternoon. Stephen Wern, their goal scorer. Chelsea took the throw.
He's given the throw to us,
and he threw it back to Thiago Silva, and the referee said,
well, Thiago Silva was just going to knock it long. He's given the throw to us.
So Livramento with the throw. Joelinton holding off a big Ugachukwu in midfield. Back to Lascelles. Oh, he's lost the ball, and it's played forwards quickly for Sterling. Palmer to the right. Sterling at the edge of the area. Trippier makes the challenge. Referee's given a free kick on the edge of the box, and he's going to give a yellow card to Kieran Trippier. Wow.
Well, what's Lascelles doing though? It was never a red card. There was plenty of black and white shirts in and around him.
So free kick for Chelsea. We're not able to review it because we're still awaiting a monitor to get a replay of all the action, which the rest of the media seem to have, but not us for some reason. But what we can say is, as you were highlighting there, Ando, is that the pass from Lascelles, or the touch from Lascelles, and then the ball was lost, and then Chelsea did play quickly there, get Sterling in.
It was a huge hole, huge gaping hole, just played it into it. Sterling's away, Trippier's got back, but it was never going to be a red card because there was plenty of black and white shirts in and around him.
I think Sterling knew the challenge was coming from Trippier as well. The ball is very close to the left side of the D, if you were looking directly at the goal, and that's from Chelsea's perspective. And their options here are Reece James, Thiago Silva and Raheem Sterling. Badiashile is a bit further back. The Newcastle wall is close to the penalty spot, just to the right of it. Pope maybe half a yard off his line. Sterling runs towards the ball, and oh dear, what a great free kick from Sterling to level it up, and he runs to the corner and is followed by his Chelsea teammates who celebrate. He's lifted it high into the top right corner of Nick Pope's goal, and in the 23rd minute it's Newcastle United 1, Chelsea 1.
That all comes about because we give it away. Can't give it away in those areas. All of a sudden it's just opened up, big gaping hole. He breaks into it. Trippier's given the free kick away. Great free kick. I mean, Nick Pope's rooted, isn't he? Never moves. Ball nestles in the top corner.
Sterling's 6th goal of the season. And it has the away fans singing. It's the 9th time he has scored against Newcastle in the Premier League for all of his clubs. And they've kicked off Newcastle. Bruno's been quiet so far. Barely seen him involved. Tried to play it forwards for a runner through the middle, but cut out. Now Gallagher tackled by Joelinton. Chelsea throw. Short, just 5 yards back from halfway. So having won the free kick, Sterling took it and scored. And 1-1 midway through the first half. What do you think of the game overall, Ando?
I think we're unlucky to be level. I mean, I think we've been the better side. We played well. It was a poor free kick to give away. You just can't do that.
It's a good run by Reece James down the right and then into the centre, and then Sterling has had a try from out on the left, caught by Pope. Big throw for Gordon, who's running and getting away from James. Thiago Silva with him. Gordon goes on the outside. Only Isak in the box. Still Gordon, stopped by Thiago Silva. Chelsea haven't cleared it, and then Thiago Silva has slipped and miskicked the ball, and it's gone behind, and it's a corner. So good progress by Gordon, and then a bit of fortune at the end of it.
Yeah, showed all his experience, didn't he? He just waited and waited, and he was basically saying to Gordon, go on then, you need to know what you're doing, what are you going to do? And he just held his ground. Good defending, and then he's unlucky.
Here's the corner from Kieran Trippier. Every Chelsea player in blue back in the box. Trippier towards the back post, headed, oh, wide. Goodness me, Joelinton.
Free kick.
With the header, and the whistle's gone anyway. Trippier with the pick out from the corner. Right round the back, he's completely free.
Should score, shouldn't he?
I don't even know if he has headed it.
Yeah, he has headed it.
Oh, he has headed it. I mean, I thought it had come off maybe his shoulder or his back. The goalkeeper went down onto the floor in the middle of the box anyway, but he just slipped. It's a goal kick, it's not a free kick.
Either way, he's got to put that in the back of the net. That's like the Dortmund.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's a clear chance and a free header for Joelinton. Here he is on the ball, winning it back in midfield after Chelsea play it short from the back. It's a throw for Newcastle. Miley playing it against Cucurella. Ball on the right-hand side. 1-1, but should have been back in front there.
Well, it was a free kick.
Was it?
Gave a free kick.
I thought he just gave a goal kick.
No, I gave a free kick.
But
either way, he should have put it in. Should have scored. It's a gilt-edged opportunity.
Then it could have gone to VAR.
Yeah.
Livramento to Bruno, Miley, Sterling behind him, played back to Lascelles. They've put Lascelles now back to the right side of central defence and Cher on the left. Almiron in off the right wing to Bruno. He's got 4 blue shirts around him. Gets away from a couple, holds off Sterling. 1-1 the score. Then on to Joelinton, back to Trippier, 35 yards out. Now Joelinton tackled by Cole Palmer. Cucurella to Badiashile at the edge of the box, and Chelsea have played their way forwards nicely. Jackson to Cole Palmer. Palmer tackled by Cher, who slid in to scoop the ball back, and very tidily done by Fabian Cher. Now Trippier down the right wing, having a look. Gordon edge of the area on this near side. Trippier keeps it on the right wing with Almiron. Into Bruno, back out to the wing to Trippier. It's a high ball that gets away from everyone in the middle, but Gordon keeps it alive, and a useful pass back to Livramento, who's come infield away from Gallagher. 1-1. Joelinton, that's Bruno rather. It's the hair.
Yeah.
Cher, what a pass from Fabian Cher. Trippier with the cross. Joelinton in the penalty area, can't bring it down. Isak, good feet, back to goal, great feet. Isak back to goal. Livramento on to Gordon, who shifted it, might hit it. Anthony Gordon. It's taken a big deflection and then went across the penalty box. Sterling's given it away to Almiron, and now Trippier with a back heel to Almiron. Joelinton trying to play a 1-2. Some appeals for handball. Palmer wins it. Trippier wins it back. This is Bruno. Newcastle keeping Chelsea boxed in, looking to retake the lead. Livramento to Bruno, left side, 30 yards out. He's gone to switch it. Palmer's got his boot to the ball. Lascelles heads it to Trippier, who then gets away from Palmer. Inside to Bruno. And the space on the right, all the room for Almiron. Almiron into Bruno. Newcastle want a free kick, they don't get it. Into the corner now with Miley, keeping the ball in play. It's Trippier. Blocked by Chelsea, the threaded through ball. Now Miley, first time, out to Bruno on the right wing. He's got Cucurella to take on. He's lashed in the cross, but it's caught by Sanchez at the near post. Good couple of minutes of pressure, but Chelsea survive and share with a good header from
They
Sanchez.
still don't get out though, Chelsea. They're still on the edge of their own penalty area.
It's only Jackson up top, and then Palmer trying to get close, but he's nowhere near. And as you say, I know everybody else has stayed back for Chelsea. 1-1 here. Sunderland losing 1-0 at Plymouth in our other commentary, which is on DAB and Freeview Channel 719. Here's Isak. He slipped and picked himself up, and he's holding off Gallagher, who was having a tug at his shirt. Ball floated by Isak to Almiron on the far side. Decent run by Almiron, then the cross. Oh, good ball in. Good ball in by Almiron. Bounced a couple of times in the 6-yard box, but too far ahead of Isak, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, he wants to come in on that left foot, doesn't he? When he plays that ball, it's always going away from people. It's in between defenders and goalkeeper, but goalkeeper always knows there's too much pace on it.
Nottingham Forest 1, Brighton 1. The latest score in another of the Premier League 3 o'clock kickoffs. Now the away team, Chelsea, playing their way forwards into midfield. Chez stepped out of defence to try and pinch it, and it's left a gap. And James now to Palmer, edge of the area, turns back. Palmer plays it to James, right side of the box, laid off and just wide.
Great save.
Fernandez.
That's a
Nick
great
Pope
save.
Has got his glove to the ball to push it past the post. Very close, Chelsea, to going in front.
Yeah. All of a sudden they broke, didn't they? Got bodies forward. We got caught in an advanced position. James pulls it back. He's coming on to it. It's a good save.
Pope,
good hand
on the stretch, left hand, tipping it away, and out for this corner. 1-1. We've played 32 minutes. Conor Gallagher, England midfielder, with an outswinger and a header caught by Pope. Badia
That's
Shield.
a chance.
It's a free header.
Yeah, it's a chance.
Straight at Pope.
Yeah, straight at the keeper, but he gets nothing on it. There's no power on it, just lets it hit his head.
Well, they were 1-0 up through a goal from Alexander Isak, but a foul on Raheem Sterling at the edge of the area, and then Sterling scored direct from the free kick that followed. Means that it's 1-1 here. Newcastle, no Joe Willock, he's injured. Sean Longstaff missing, so more injury problems. Pope, Trippier, Lascelles, Cher, Livramento, Miley, Bruno, Joelinton, Almiron, Gordon, Isak, and they've just to confirm, they've kept Bruno in the middle of midfield, Miley to the right, rather than doing something different. Trippier up to Isak. Oh, good ball. With his leg outstretched to play it to Almiron, who wins a throw off Cucurella, 35 yards or so from the Chelsea goal. Lascelles to share in the centre circle, a little bit of time. It's Joelinton on for Bruno, heavy first touch, but a foul on Joelinton late.
Fernandez, yeah.
It's Brazil-Argentina again, isn't it? Which was fiery in the week. And Joelinton sent off. in that match, coming on for his 5th cap for Brazil. He's been quite mellow today by his usual standards, Joelinton. I don't think he's committed a foul yet. Trippier on the halfway line with the free kick. To the edge of the penalty area, Lascelles trying to head it on, but it's gone square. Joelinton has now committed a foul. There we are.
Yeah, you see, tempted fate, didn't you?
34th minute, pulled back. I think it was Fernandes. Just outside Chelsea's box. 1-1. BBC Radio Newcastle. There will at full-time be a phone-in and a chance for you to talk about the match with Ando and hear some reaction from Eddie Howe. Between 5 and 6. Fernandes down the right side. Reece James rises and takes it on his chest, passes it along the halfway line. Palmer, who has shirt number 20 for Chelsea, to Sterling on his right foot, left side of the box, on the outside for Palmer, but it's beaten him. Goal kick.
That was so tight. Angle was so tight. He never gave Palmer a chance.
Pope drags the ball along the 6-yard line. Share at the left corner of the area. I think he's going to go for a long kick, and he does. Joelinton helping it on. Volleyed clear by Thiago Silva. Share heads it into midfield. Miley rises. Challenge from Fernandes behind. Chelsea get the ball away. Lascelles then with a big header out to the right-hand side. Badiashile with a touch, and then a second one, which is a pass back to the goalkeeper. Eddie Howe spent most of the game, as he does, in the technical area. Haven't seen Pochettino, but he's banned from the touchline, isn't he, today? So it's his assistant who is communicating everything from the technical area for Chelsea. Pope with a clearance out from the back, straight to Gallagher, and Gallagher,
dear oh dear,
with a shot that is barely worthy of the name. It's a goal
I was going to say,
he's fluffed his lines.
I think you're being kind there, saying it was a shot.
Pope miscued, miskicked.
Yeah, if that's a weakness in this game, that's it. We've just seen it right there. He's trying to play out from the back, and he gives it straight away. Thankfully, Gallagher couldn't make the best of it.
Trippier to Almiron. I mean, they've had the goal. They had the Joelinton header from the corner, but Sanchez hasn't been busy. Now there's Pope, to be fair. Now Nicholas Jackson wants a free kick, doesn't get it. Edge of the box. Livramento retrieving the loose ball and playing it inside to Joelinton. Jackson's all over him, but can't win it back. And Lascelles on to Trippier. Look at the space for Trippier. He's trying to stretch the Chelsea defence with a ball for Almiron. Badiashile gets there, plays it against Almiron, and wins a goal kick.
Good defending.
Sterling didn't go with Trippier though. Just left him. He had loads of room.
No, he's not tracking him, is he?
Eight minutes to half-time. 1-1. Sanchez. Cucurella on the touchline. Back down the line to Badiashile. Straight to Trippier. Forwards to Bruno. Could they make something happen here? He's played in Almiron. Almiron goes back to Trippier. About level with the edge of the Chelsea box now. Bruno just sticks it in there, but there's nobody for Newcastle to get a touch. Reece James has controlled it, and he had the luxury of time to bring it down and clear and find a bit of space before getting rid of the ball, but Newcastle pick it up near to halfway. They've moved it from left to right. Miley making a forward run. Almiron back to Trippier. And to Almiron again, and space is opened up for Miguel Almiron. Miley goes out wide. He plays it into Isak. There's nobody in the centre-forward position. Isak onto Joelinton, back to Isak. And then Chelsea regain possession. Cucurella to the goalkeeper. Isak closes down. Oh, not the best ball by Sanchez.
Oh, well played.
But Thiago Silva dealt with it.
Don't panic.
And Enzo Fernandez driving through the middle of the pitch and sending it to Sterling into the left corner. Trippier makes a tackle, then another corner kick.
Yeah.
From the second.
Silva, don't panic.
Trippier.
Dear, oh dear. How calm was that?
All 10 outfield players in black and white are in the Newcastle box. Anthony Gordon is on the edge of the area. There's no one on either post. Cole Palmer with left-footed out-swinging corner kick. Lascelles, good header, but it clears the ball away from the box, but it pushes it back out to Palmer, although Gordon's made a challenge and then got away. It's good from Gordon. Then Miley.
Oh, unlucky.
Tried to help it on to Almiron.
Yeah, he's seen him.
To Chelsea throw. The away team have it. They've won their last 3 on the road in the Premier League at Spurs, Burnley and Fulham. Badiashile stopped the ball. Then it's played inside to Thiago Silva, then back to Badiashile. Joelinton stretching, intercepts Bruno with a header. Miley, and then finding Bruno, and it's one for Almiron to chase, but Badiashile is defending it well. And Enzo Fernandez back to Thiago Silva. Plymouth 2, Sunderland 0. The commentary from Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett on BBC Radio Newcastle, DAB, Freeview Channel 719. Fabian Schär with an interception, but it was a heavy touch, and Chelsea trying to get clear. Trippier slides in, and then Livramento gets the better of Gallagher and brings the ball away for Newcastle into the Chelsea half. Livramento onto Gordon, could get it back. Gordon's going to carry it himself, goes around Ugachukwu, and a yellow card for the Chelsea midfielder for the tackle, the foul on Gordon. Might have rolled in Livramento, but wins a free kick close to the edge of the area.
Gallagher's a cheat.
Running it forwards himself.
Gallagher's a cheat. He didn't fancy the tackle, and he's gone over saying that he's been caught. Never been caught, because he didn't fancy it at all. All of a sudden we broke. 2-on-1 situation. Free kick, dangerous area. Can we do to Chelsea what they did to us at the other end? Similar position.
Trippier's last goal was from a free kick against Manchester City in August last year, and this one is left of centre, 5 yards back from the penalty area, maybe a touch over that. We've got Fabian Schär there. Gordon's limping after the challenge, but just gives a thumbs up. Livramento hanging back. This could be very interesting. 4 Chelsea players in the wall, a couple of Newcastle bodies.
It's not the biggest wall in the world either.
Schär or Trippier, or will they roll in someone else and do something clever, or will one of them just have a strike? Trippier does have a go on. What a good save from Sanchez.
It's a goal kick.
Is it? Oh, it's hit the bar. Wow. Kieran Trippier. Oh,
it did hit the bar,
crashed it against the crossbar. Sanchez threw himself across goal towards it, but it beat the keeper. Didn't manage to get it down in time. Kieran Trippier, so well struck,
unlucky,
and very unfortunate. So one big chance from Joelinton, and then Trippier off the crossbar. I thought the keeper had got to that, but it clearly hit the bar when we see it again. And we've been given a TV screen so that we can review everything, which is useful. Trippier off the bar. Newcastle 1, Chelsea 1. 44th minute. It's their free kick. Joelinton back to Cher on the left side of defence. 3 Chelsea players around him. Cher pushes it up to Isak. He's got his back to goal. He's holding off Thiago Silva. It's come for Gordon, then Livramento into the centre to Lascelles, helped on towards halfway. 2 Chelsea players go for the same ball. Joelinton gets something on it, then Miley for Trippier just past halfway. Up to Almiron, no offside as he came back from
hit it
a position, and now Joelinton
no, don't hit it.
Has gone with his left foot and maybe ought not to have done, because it's very, very high.
Trippier is the outlet all the time because Sterling's not prepared to track him. He's just letting them run, and he's getting acres of space on that right side.
Goal kick for Sanchez. Now the ball going over the top.
High over the top.
Yeah, it's the cue for thousands of fans to go and warm up at half-time. And we're 30 seconds away from seeing the numbers board from 4th official Jeremy Simpson. Header on by Isak, but he has to chase his own flick. And Chelsea start from the goalkeeper again. Sterling header down to Cucurella. Fernandez scoops it forwards in midfield. And it's a Chelsea attack down the left with Sterling. Can't get away from Trippier. Minimum of 3 additional minutes as Almiron takes Newcastle up the pitch. And it's across to this near side, and Isak, Gordon in the middle. Livramento on the outside, given to Bruno by Isak, who now gets into the box. Livramento back to Bruno, just outside the area, but being forced away by Chelsea, who've got every player behind the ball now. 1-1, Cher, Livramento, wide on the left. Centre of Newcastle's half, pushed by James. And the free kick is Simon Hooper's decision. And Livramento has to retie his right bootlace. Trippier has come across. And we'll take the free kick. Gordon runs out to the left wing just to stretch the play. Livramento still sorting out his lace. Up he gets. Jason Tindall giving Newcastle instructions from the side of the field. Trippier. Sanchez is watching that one and catches.
Poor. Just straight down the keeper's throat, wasn't it? Easy take.
Palmer trying to stretch Newcastle. Pope's come out of his penalty box and sliced them.
Not comfortable, is he?
Had a bit of time as the ball slowed down, but first time clearance and straight out. Enzo Fernandez. Cher, that's an important challenge. Bruno, they might be able to get away here with Gordon. It's a battle between Gordon and Thiago Silva. Gordon's got there, pushed it inside away from Thiago Silva. Great recovery, and then James around Joelinton, who pulled him down, and it's probably going to be a yellow card for Joelinton. Reece James is rolling around on the floor. Joelinton does get
up around the head.
Yeah,
it's a rugby tackle.
That's why he's rolling around on the floor. James got the better of Joelinton, just poked it around him, went the other side. And Joelinton wasn't going to let him get away any further, and he's pulled him down. Yeah, well, sort of hooked him down. Reece James having words with Jason Tindall and the 4th official. Still having a go, Reece James. Referee is telling him to get on with it, restart the match. Eddie Howe with a fairly stern expression on his face, watching that play out. James has played the free kick straight to Anthony Gordon, and now Newcastle through Isak, and Gordon maybe with a chance for one last attack. Gordon back into Isak at the edge of the area. Isak, oh, the through ball is blocked, and then it's a foul by Isak on Ugachukwu, and there's the half-time whistle. Newcastle level with Chelsea, 1 apiece at St James's Park. Isak opened the scoring, and Raheem Sterling with the equaliser. Reece James has gone back to the referee, obviously wanted Joe Linton to be sent off, and then had angry exchanges with the Newcastle bench, but the decision's been made. 1 apiece then, Ando, at the break. What do you think?
I think we've been the better side. I think we've controlled the ball. There hasn't been too many chances. Good goal that we've got. The goal that we've given away is poor from our point of view. You know, it's a ball played into one of your centre-backs. He brings it forward. And your centre-back brings it forward. He then cannot give it away, or your centre-back brings it forward in that situation. He then can't give it away because he's out of the game. And the ball gets played straight back into where he's come from. All of a sudden they're on to us. Trippier's forced to give the free kick away, and to be fair, it's a super free kick, but it should never happen. You know, just get it wide, just pass it nice and simple. But it's been a game that neither keeper's really been called upon. You know, we've hit the crossbar from the free kick from Trippier. Goal was a real good goal, great little finish, good to have him back, but we've been the better side, I think.
A couple of dodgy moments at the back when the ball's been played around, and Nick Pope giving it away on one occasion, and Gallagher made a right mess of it.
Oh, he made a right, yeah. He's been awful for them. He's been shocking, but yeah, thankfully we got away with that one.
And at the other end, Trippier with a free kick.
Yeah, hit the bar, great free kick. Sanchez was sprawling. I thought he saved it at first, but it smacked the top of the crossbar. Unlucky.
Second half coming up soon then, here on BBC Radio Newcastle, with Newcastle and Chelsea level as it stands after 45 minutes. Alexander Isak's 8th of the season put them in front, but Raheem Sterling with the equaliser. It's 1-1.
Can iguanas really run that fast? Will the monkeys make their escape? How on earth do they even film this stuff? When you're immersed in the natural wonders of our planet, there's no feeling like live TV. However you're watching, a TV licence is your must-have pass to over 400 live TV channels, packed with facts you can't help talking about. And it also funds everything you love from the BBC, including live radio, like this.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
It's not going all that well. Newcastle United won, Chelsea won at half-time. Alexander Isak with the opening goal, Raheem Sterling with the equaliser, but Sunderland 2-0 down at Plymouth. Morgan Whittaker and Finn Azaz with Plymouth's 2 goals. We will be back with our respective commentary teams very shortly for full coverage of the second halves in the North East and in the South West. In the Premier League, let's run through the other 3 o'clock kickoffs, and we'll start in the top flight. Although actually I say 3 o'clock kickoffs, we'll start with the early kickoff because it finished earlier on. Manchester City won, Liverpool won. Erling Haaland midway through the first half for Manchester City, but Trent Alexander-Arnold equalising with 10 minutes to go for Liverpool. So Manchester City's winning home run is over. Manchester City won, Liverpool won. In the 3 o'clock kickoffs then, it's goalless between Burnley and West Ham and between Luton and Crystal Palace, but Brighton now lead 2-1 at Nottingham Forest, despite Forest taking the lead after just 3 minutes through Anthony Elanga. Evan Ferguson equalised, and then Joao Pedro on the stroke of half-time, making it 2-1 to Brighton away from home. And Bournemouth are leading away from home as well, 2-0 at Bramall Lane against Sheffield United. Marcus Tavernier, the former Newcastle youngster, with the first one. Justin Kluivert, son of former Dutch striker Patrick, with Bournemouth's second goal, so they lead 2-0 at Sheffield United. The 5:30 kickoff is Brentford against Arsenal.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into the Championship, and it livened up a bit in the last few minutes because before that there hadn't been all that many goals. Birmingham City won, Sheffield Wednesday won, and both of those came in first half injury time. George Byers first for Sheffield Wednesday, and then Juninho Bacuna equalising for Birmingham. So it's Birmingham 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Middlesbrough 2-0 down at Bristol City. Taylor Gardner-Hickman and then a Tommy Conway penalty, both of those in the last 8 minutes of the first half. It is Southampton leading 1-0 at Huddersfield. Adam Armstrong, former Newcastle striker, on the very stroke of half-time as well. Goalless between Leicester City and Watford. Coventry, though, lead 1-0 at Millwall. Matt Godden after half an hour. Norwich City 1-0 up on Queen's Park Rangers. Wee Joe Hwang after 21 minutes. Preston ends. Cardiff is goalless, but Blackburn lead 1-0 at Stoke. That was the first goal of the afternoon in the Championship. Scott Wharton after 4 minutes. And Swansea 2-0 up at home to Hull City. Jamie Patterson and Jerry Yates in the space of 6 minutes in the middle of that first half. There's a 5:30 kickoff in the Championship as well. It's West Bromwich Albion against Ipswich Town.
Total Sport North East.
The Newcastle and Sunderland AFC podcast
On BBC Sounds.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Too keen to give you the League One score. Let's go into League One then. Bolton lead Exeter by 2-0. Iredale and Adebayejo with those goals. Carlisle under new ownership at home to Charlton Athletic is goalless at half-time. Cheltenham lead Oxford United by 1-0, but it's goalless between Derby and Bristol Rovers. Jamie Reid has given Stevenage a 1-0 half-time lead away at Fleetwood. Leyton Orient are 1-0 up on Wigan. Lincoln City 1-0 up on Barnsley. Danny Mandrew penalty after just 5 minutes. Northampton and Cambridge United are drawing 0-0. Peterborough, though, are 2-0 up on Burton Albion at home at half-time. And away from home, Blackpool lead Portsmouth by 1-0. Max Mata has given Shrewsbury a 1-0 lead over Port Vale, although they're actually in the 7th minute of injury time at the end of the first half. That one hasn't finished yet. And Reading leads 2-1 at Wycombe Wanderers. Reading's second goal coming from Lewis Wing, who every time he scores for Reading, I mentioned that he used to play in the Northern League for Brandon United and Seaham Red Star and Shildon and various different teams before he moved through to Middlesbrough and on to bigger and better things. In League 2, AFC Wimbledon 2-0 up on Notts County. It's goalless between Bradford and Accrington Stanley. Barrow are 1-0 down at Colchester United. Harrogate equalised in the 6th minute of first half injury time, so they're 1-1 at Crawley Town. Jack Muldoon with that equaliser. Crewe Alexandra 2-1 up on Doncaster. It's Grimsby 1, Sutton United 1. That was another very late first half equaliser for Sutton United. Newport County have the lead in the 50th minute of the first half. They lead Stockport County by 1-0. Salford City 2-1 up on MK Dons. That's another one in injury time at the first half. Loads of goals at the very end of the first half so far today. Swindon are 1-0 up on Mansfield. Tranmere are 1-0 up on Gillingham. It's goalless between Walsall and Forest Green Rovers. And Wrexham lead by 3-0 at home to Morecambe.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into non-league then, where I'm getting very keen on doing these, apologies. Into non-league then, we'll come to Gateshead in just a second. There was one early game in the National League that finished 3-3 between AFC Fylde and Dorking Wanderers, but Gateshead in that same division, 3 wins in a row, and they're halfway to making it 4 wins in a row because they lead by 1-0 at home to Southend United at the break. Stephen Wern after 14 minutes, but elsewhere overall it's not particularly good. South Shields losing 1-0 at home to Chester. Blythe Spartans losing 2-0 at home to Peterborough Sports. Those 2 games in National League North. In the NPL Premier Division, Morpeth are losing 1-0 away at Hyde United. Better news for the joint leaders of the NPL East Division though. Hebburn Town 1-0 up at Belper at half-time. Amar Purawal after 45 minutes there. Goalless between Consett and Carlton, and in Dunstan's game away at Winterton Rangers. That's despite Winterton having their goalkeeper sent off midway through the first half. But our featured match this afternoon is at Woodhorn Lane. Ashington hosting Liversedge. Our non-league reporter Paul Dixon can tell us how the first half has gone. Paul.
Well, it hasn't gone that well for the home team. It's Ashington 0, Liversedge 1, and the goal was scored on 45 plus. It looked as though we're going to go in at nils each, and I think Ashington would have settled for that. But right on half-time, a corner on the right side, the ball came into the box, and goalkeeper Carl Dryland completely missed the ball, and there at the back post was Joe Walton to head the ball home. 1-0, it stands, but Ashington have played really well the first half, and especially Connor Thompson, who's had 2 great runs down the right, and then cut in, and goalkeeper has saved 2. Ashton have been a bit unlucky on 40 minutes. A brilliant run again by Thompson. He beat two defenders and squared the ball to top goal scorer Wilson Nisho, who curled his right foot shot which cannoned off the crossbar. And as I say, they would have been delighted to go in nils each at half time. Ian Skinner now has got to lift his team. Liverpool have come here this afternoon and they know that Ashton have won, are undefeated in their last 5 games. And they're really putting themselves about, and it'll be difficult for Ashton to get back in the game, but hopefully they can in the second half. Half-time score, Ashton 0, Liverpool 1.
Paul, thank you very much, and apologies to Dunstan because I missed them taking the lead at the very end of the first half. So Chris McDonald scored. They are 1-0 up at 10-man Winterton Rangers. We will do our local football roundup at 5:45.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
This week, Colette started as our permanent newsreader, and to get to know her, you lot have been sending your questions in. Sarah sent me a message. If Colette had to kill off one Disney character, who would it be?
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty? Why is that?
She's just waiting for a man to change her life and she's just sleeping. Grow up, Sleeping Beauty. Get a job.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Back Monday morning
from 6.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And back in just a couple of minutes to both St James's Park and Home Park, because it's Newcastle 1, Chelsea 1, and Sunderland losing 2-0 at Plymouth. We'll have our commentaries of the second half beginning very shortly. Now to Newcastle Falcons, because we keep saying it, because it keeps being true. They're still looking for their first win of the season, but head coach Alex Codlin keeps saying the same things every time that Dean Gray interviews him, that it is all about improving.
Oh, look, as I said many times, I don't look at the league table. That's not because I'm avoiding the question. It's just the fact that we are a young group. And we'll take the Saracens game away, which we were second best by a distance. But actually, sometimes you realise that you watched the game the following week when they played Harlequins away and did pretty similar things to them. So they are a world-class team. And the other games we've been really competitive. We should have and could have. So the table could and should look very different. It's not. You can't change the past. You can only influence the future. And as I said, we're really geared up for Sunday, and we know it's a massive game. And everyone here is under no illusion how important it is to get the win.
Yes, it will be. They're at home to Exeter Chiefs, our Newcastle Falcons, tomorrow afternoon. Live commentary with Dean Gray and Lee Hogarth on the BBC Sport website and app from around about 2:30. But like I say, the kickoff is at 3 o'clock. The top 4 in the Premiership played each other last night. So Sale beat Bath 11-9. Northampton Saints beat Harlequins 36-33. In the basketball today in the BBL, Durham Palatinate were 70-64 winners over Manchester Giants. Janica Griffith-Wallace with 26 points. El Hendershot as well gets a merit for 14 rebounds. A massive number that is. Tomorrow in the WBBL, Newcastle Eagles away at Sheffield Hatters. Tonight at 5 o'clock, the men are at Surrey Scorchers. In the snooker, then, Elliot Slessor is our only representative at the UK Championship. He gets underway tomorrow. But in the first matches today, Mark Allen against Ding Junhui. That is the replay of last year's final. Mark Allen leading 4-2. Mark Williams is 3-2 up on Fang Zhengyi. It is the first to 6. And just to tell you about the ice hockey as well, because Whitley Warriors in action twice across the weekend. They're at home at 5 o'clock tomorrow to Nottingham Lions, but they're away at Blackburn Hawks at 6 o'clock this evening. Right then, if you want to listen to Newcastle against Chelsea with Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson, that commentary is on our FM frequencies. But if it's Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett for Sunderland's game at Plymouth that you want, you need to be listening on DAB Digital Radio and Freeview Channel 719.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport Northeast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Gordon's brought it down and then carried it out of the box, then turned and come inside. Joelinton, Lewis Miley takes a touch, rolls it through for Isak! And that is a really well-taken goal. Alexander Isak is back, and is back among the goals. His 8th of the season. Gordon kept it alive into Joelinton. And then young Lewis Miley with the through ball. Isak took it on the turn and finished past Robert Sanchez. And in the 13th minute, it's Newcastle United 1, Chelsea 0. Pope, maybe half a yard off his line. Sterling runs towards the ball and oh dear. What a great free kick from Sterling to level it up, and he runs to the corner and is followed by his Chelsea teammates who celebrate. He's lifted it high into the top right corner of Nick Pope's goal, and in the 23rd minute it's Newcastle United 1, Chelsea 1.
Total Sport Northeast.
Matthew Raisbeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
1-1 after 45 minutes at St James's. Those are the goals. Isak for Newcastle, Sterling for Chelsea. Other chances though, Trippier off the bar with a free kick, Joelinton header wide from a corner, and Chelsea with an opportunity for Conor Gallagher in particular that was off target when Nick Pope gave the ball away. Ought to have done better, but 1-1. And the second half will begin soon. The two sets of substitutes are on the pitch at the moment. We are waiting for their starting players to return. Newcastle with not a lot that they can do with substitutions, with 3 goalkeepers, 4 academy players among those on the bench, and it is another sign of just how difficult it is for Eddie Howe with all of the injuries and players unavailable. Referee and his assistants have come back out now for the second half. Long conversations at the end of the first half. Kieran Trippier spoke to the referees, he left the pitch. Rhys James of Chelsea went across for another word, having had an issue with the challenge on him from Joelinton not long before the half-time whistle. And it is going to be the same Newcastle 11 for the second half. Pope in goal, Trippier, Lascelles, Schär, Livramento, Miley, Bruno, Joelinton, Almiron, Gordon, Isak, and Chelsea. Looks like it's the same again. Sanchez in goal, James, Badiashile, Thiago Silva, Cucurella. Midfield, Enzo Fernandez, Ugachukwu, Palmer, Gallagher, Sterling, Jackson. That's how they line up. And Newcastle start the second half. BBC Radio Newcastle, NUFC TV. Back to Lascelles, he's given it away to Sterling and played him behind to Jackson. Lascelles has blocked Jackson, and it's going to be a free kick and a card for Lascelles. He's going to get booked. Jamal Lascelles straight away from the kickoff, beginning of the second half, passed it to Chelsea, and then when it was played in behind by Sterling for the run of Jackson, Lascelles put his arm across, blocked him off, a couple of yards outside the area, and a free kick in a very similar position in terms of distance from goal and side of the pitch to where Sterling scored from in the first half. But that is not the way, John Anderson, to start the second half.
No, he didn't learn from the first half, did he, when he gave it away for the goal? And then he's just blocked the run of the boy off.
Well, Sterling hands on hips, James hands on hips. Newcastle wall in the middle of the penalty area. Looks like it's going to be Rhys James. Thiago Silva's behind him. It's the 47th minute, but we probably had about 10 seconds of play, maybe not even that in the second half. Chelsea ready to take the free kick, and James is looking like the man who's about to step up and strike it, and he does, but it's over the top. Unlike Sterling's effort, it didn't dip in time.
Well, after all that, just chips it, doesn't he? Doesn't get anything on it. But you can't keep giving it away. You can't keep coming out and trying to play out from the back and keep giving it away in those areas.
Pope's goal kick. Header from Gallagher. Livramento gets his head to the ball. Joelinton on the far side has to slide in and win a throw for Newcastle. Black and white stripes against Chelsea, all in blue. This is Bruno, good play up to the halfway line, making progress up the field, but he stayed down after the tackle. The referee is...
He's all right.
Just going to cross to check on him.
He's all right.
Cher then puts the ball into the position for the free kick. He starts to make his way forwards. They're sending Trippier from the right side to the left side to take it, and Lascelles is up there. Livramento hanging back as Trippier with the ball towards Lascelles. Gone backwards off a Chelsea player, then they head it away. Bruno, that's a good ball for Gordon to chase into the corner on the far side, and there's no offside against Anthony Gordon.
Well, you don't think so?
As I'm saying that, I'm looking at the assistant referee and counting.
No offside.
Just to make sure that there's not going to be one of those late flags. Livramento to Lascelles, who's back in position. Trippier is alongside him in the middle of defence, and he slips as he plays it forwards, but it's for Gordon in space, far side of the pitch, attacking the Gallagher end. Joelinton to Livramento. Back to Joelinton. Still on the left wing. It's a useful ball to Trippier, edge of the penalty area. Almiron into Bruno, back through, Cucurella's header, Miley couldn't control it, and then Miley and Bruno helped to win it back, and there's a battle on for the ball. Bruno, that might have been a foul on Sterling. Play on, Trippier with a turn and told to get up by the referee. He's getting up as Newcastle play on down the left. Joelinton and James. It's a corner, nothing more. Despite the appeals.
Yeah, he's just won the ball, James. Corner kick. Every time somebody's touched now, they want a free kick.
And when it's on the far side, obviously we don't have a particularly close view of it, but it didn't look like there was anything wrong. And those two might be battling away in the second half after the foul by Joelinton on James at the end of the first half. 1-1 the score, 50th minute, and Trippier to take the corner. Bruno and Miley and Joelinton in the 6-yard box. Trippier's ball in, Sanchez hits the deck, completely missed it. It's another corner.
Someone all over the place, the goalkeeper.
Someone in a Chelsea shirt got a touch. It's another corner on the near side. That's twice from corners. He slipped. Not a foul.
No, not a foul at all. I think he just throws himself. Now all of a sudden goalkeepers are throwing themselves all over the place looking for free kicks.
Well done to the referee for not giving a free kick, because often when keepers go down they get a foul. Trippier's corner, Lascelles, what a volley from Lascelles. It has come back to Trippier on this near side, and it'll be another corner. It's gone behind of Nicholas Jackson, who didn't fancy the challenge with Trippier.
He won the ball and then he threw himself to the ground. Dear oh dear.
It's now Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 3. It was a strange corner. Trippier hung it up, Lascelles volleyed it, but it came back out to Trippier, and they've got another corner from it. Fabian Cher throws himself at this one. Anthony Gordon has a try, big deflection. Referee happy with that, no handball. Keeper makes a save. Almiron gets back into position to stop it reaching Sterling, and now they go down the right wing. Trippier floats it towards Joelinton in the box, battling with James again. Sanchez makes the catch. Jackson, Lascelles, got to be careful, he's on a yellow card. Jackson gets it back from Cucurella, left side of the Chelsea attack. Sterling into the penalty area, and Bruno with a block. Well, he really just took the ball off Sterling's toe, and now over the top from Bruno towards Gordon, but James recovers and makes the header. Sterling is on the floor in the Newcastle penalty area. I don't know why. Obviously feeling as though he either should have had a foul given against Newcastle, or he wanted the ball put out. Now he's back into the play, having come back from an offside position. Gives it to Cucurella on the left wing. It's a Chelsea attack, 1-1. Fernandez, Ugo Chukwu, 30 yards out, right of centre. James now Gallagher has played that against Livramento and it stayed in. And now it's a Newcastle throw.
He's been awful, Gallagher. He's been absolutely awful.
Newcastle supporters not particularly happy with Raheem Sterling. Did he have a case for a penalty?
No.
No, of course he didn't.
Of course he did.
He's overrun the ball and Bruno's made a block and
I just said, every
away.
time one of them gets touched now, they think it's a foul. It's not a foul every time you get touched.
BBC Radio Newcastle. The throw to Gordon. He's got a man at his back and Chelsea have pinched the ball back into the penalty area. Sterling through for Jackson. Could be trouble here. Brilliant defending. Cher making the block. And Bruno along the goal line brings it away. Gordon out to Joelinton on the left wing. And it's a Chelsea throw rather than Newcastle's ball.
Yeah, it's a poor touch by Joelinton.
The throw has been taken. James to Palmer. Back to Thiago Silva. Enzo Fernandez. Isak and Miley are in his way. Square it goes. Thiago Silva, short ball inside, and now Enzo Fernandez. Almiron gets the block. Bruno fouled by Gallagher. Crowd getting angry, which often isn't a bad thing. Gallagher is going to be getting, in fact it's not Gallagher, it's Reece James who's been yellow carded there.
Yeah, it's obviously for something that he said.
Because it was Gallagher who made the challenge on Bruno.
He won the ball.
He won the ball. I don't know if he had a swipe at him before that. We only saw a replay of the challenge where he slid in. But it looked like he won the ball. He did go across him, and they don't like those, do they? What do you think of Bruno today? Because he hasn't really been as involved in the game as others in black and white have been, but he's perhaps having a little bit more of the ball now in the second half.
Yeah, he's been all right.
Trippier, that's good. But Isak is dispossessed by Ugachukwu. Then Lascelles steps in to win it and carries Newcastle away down the right wing. Nobody in the box. Almiron holding off Cucurella. Still Almiron wins a free kick. It's pulled down by Spanish international fullback with the big curly hair, Cucurella, and Trippier out on the right wing to take the free kick. "56 minutes. Jason Tindall shouting something down the line to Trippier. Jackson is the one player in the Chelsea wall with his right wrist strapped at Nicholas Jackson. Enzo Fernandez pushing at Anthony Gordon as Trippier sends in the ball. It was aimed towards Cher in the middle. It was fairly flat. Headed away by Cucurella, then Jackson plays it off Gordon and it's a goal kick.
Got lucky.
He did. He didn't fancy the physical stuff there, did he, Jackson?
No, he got lucky.
What would you say about the start to the second half from both teams?
It's been scrappy. It's been a scrappy start.
Sanchez to Badiashile, left-footed away. Trippier pushed by Sterling, but his ball onto Almiron, and then the referees brought it back. There was no advantage after Almiron's first touch.
Sterling's cheated all afternoon. He's just let Trippier go all afternoon. He's never tracked.
Which match was it? It was Crystal Palace, wasn't it? That happened. It was Odsonne Edouard. Did exactly the same. Trippier's free kick. Joelinton with a header, and Miley trying to keep it in, but seen out by Leslie Ugachukwu. Goal kick. Sterling wants the ball from the goal kick. He's got his arm in the air, but it's played square in the box instead, and then it goes down the far side from Chelsea. Lascelles has won it. Did well to read it. And then back to Nick Pope from Livramento. Pope's kick. There's nobody there in a black and white shirt. And it's Sanchez on his thigh in front of Chelsea's box, who is the recipient. Thiago Silva, Badia Shield, backpedaling. Ball comes towards him, and then his forward passes to Trippier. Foul by Sterling again. Calls from some fans behind us to book Raheem Sterling, who now kicks the ball away and does get a yellow card. He wasn't going to get it for the tackle or for persistent fouling, but he gets one for kicking the ball away from Bruno.
Never learn, these players. Never learn.
Of the block of supporters who sit just to our right, just the other side of the steps, I think virtually all of them were up, waving the imaginary yellow card, and they got their wish. 1-1 after an hour at St James's Park. Anthony Gordon cuts in off the left wing and lifts the ball into the box. Good header! Isak has scored again!
No, it's Lascelles. Oh, it is Isak.
Alexander Isak with a header. Or was it Jamal Lascelles? They were both in there. Wonderful cross delivered into the middle by Anthony Gordon, and two of them went for it, and they are back in front. That's the main thing. An hour gone at St James's Park, and Newcastle have restored their advantage over Chelsea. It's Newcastle United 2, Chelsea 1.
Well, it makes up for what he did in the first half. I mean, it's a wonderful ball played in. Chelsea are all over the place defensively. They don't pick anybody up. It's the freest header in the world.
And it is Lascelles behind Isak who got it. Jamal Lascelles, the captain, his first goal since scoring at Tranmere in August last year. And yeah, after an involvement in the Chelsea goal and a shaky moment at the start of the second half that led to him getting booked, well, that's just what he would have wanted to give the team. Not quite sure why he was up there, mind, but in a great position, and he finished it nicely. Oh, now given away by Chelsea. Joelinton is in! Oh! And in a flash, it's gone from 1-1 to 3-1. Chelsea with a mistake at the back, and Joelinton was right there to take full advantage and slam the ball past Sanchez and into the back of the net at the Gallagher end. 62 minutes, Newcastle United 3, Chelsea 1.
Well, Chelsea, just said about the free kick, the Lascelles goal, they're all over the place defensively. And they just give it away again on the edge of their own penalty area. Silva just loses it, just takes his eye off it. And this time he keeps the shot down, puts it in the back of the net.
Sanchez in the 6-yard box as Joelinton closed in on goal. He's absolutely leathered it under the keeper and in, and he really enjoyed that one. It's 3-1. Isak, Lascelles and Joelinton. And from being 1-1 just a couple of minutes ago, they're now in a position with what you would say is a fairly comfortable lead, in the sense it's a 2-goal cushion, Ando. From nowhere, mistake again by Chelsea, but a foul by Joelinton on Uga Chukwu, close to the edge of the area. They were very nearly through again. Didn't see it turning like that, really. Trippier slipped at the edge of the box, but he's recovered, and then given it away to Gallagher, who's had a heavy touch, and that's behind for a goal kick.
Hey, he's been absolutely atrocious him. He's been awful, Gallagher. What an awful touch. Oh.
Goal kick. Kieran Trippier just had a moment there to himself. He won the ball and then nearly played his way into trouble, recovered. And Gallagher could have been in, but it didn't work out for him. It's 3-1 to Newcastle, and to be in a position like this with the way that the squad looks and the bench is what Eddie Howe would have been dreaming of, I'm sure, because it will give them the opportunity. It's not as if they're going to need to make changes to try and, well, we don't know, but he wouldn't want to be chasing a game late on. You know, this could be the
as we said beforehand, Razor, there's 7 internationals in that starting 11.
Yeah, but it's what's in reserve, and it's
but you don't need what's in reserve, because
that's what I'm saying.
The quality that's out there now. He would want to change it. Of course he would want to change it with Tuesday night. He would want to look at his bench and see what can I bring on. He's only got Dummett
and
Richie on there,
but he would hopefully not have to change it in a way that would be about chasing the game. Now that they're 3-1 up, we don't know what's going to happen, but they get into a strong position and can hopefully see it through. And then at some point you think Isak would be withdrawn, but still plenty of football to be played. Palmer to Cucurella, left corner of the penalty area. Sterling takes the ball away from goal and then gives it back to Enzo Fernandez. Conor Gallagher, right side, goes out to James. Fernandez, Chelsea number 8, back into his own half. Badiashile, square to Thiago Silva. I think it's settled down now after the crazy couple of minutes when they scored twice. Fernandez dropped onto the right boot of Reece James, down the line. Cher, that's a free kick for the...
Didn't disguise it well, did he?
Barge into Gallagher, right next to the assistant referee. Luton are 1-0 down at home to Crystal Palace. Let's have a full run through of the Premier League scores in a second, because there have been quite a few goals since we last updated them. Burnley 1 up on West Ham, Luton 0, Palace 1, 3-1 to Newcastle here, Brighton 3-1 up at Forest, and Bournemouth leading 3-0 at Sheffield United. This is BBC Radio Newcastle, 67th minute. Here's the Chelsea free kick, header away by Cher. And missed control there, and Almiron might be onto it, and Bruno. Newcastle a long way to go, but a counter-attack. Gordon down the line, Bruno's ball to Gordon. Chelsea make a challenge. Reece James, brilliant defending, and they get it back to Sanchez. Just didn't quite have enough players maybe in that attack, and it was a very long way, their starting point, Newcastle, when they won the ball, but they went for it. And Chelsea are going to try to respond and get back into the game with a triple change soon. But not yet, because the ball is still in play, and Joe Linton from the left side of the central midfield has gone back to Nick Pope. Lascelles waited, and Jackson very nearly nicked it. Now his ball into midfield towards Isak, comes back to Cher, edge of the penalty area. Cher fouled by Palmer, free kick. The Crystal Palace goal at Luton has been disallowed. It's still 0-0. A reminder, Sunderland's game away to Plymouth in the Championship, and last we heard, still 2-0 to Plymouth, is on DAB and Freeview Channel 719, if that's the commentary you're looking for. Conor Gallagher replaced by Mihailo Mudryk.
Not surprised at that at all.
Armando Broja comes on for Nicholas Jackson.
Not surprised at that either.
Broja, the Albanian international, he's got 1 goal this season. Also going off is Leslie Ugachukwu and Moises Caicedo, £115 million man. And, Chelsea beat Liverpool 2 in the summer. That's his replacement. I mean, it's not really anything to be sad about if you're bringing those 3 players on who are very, very good, but that's what Chelsea are doing to respond. Newcastle 3-1 up. 3rd goal coming from a mistake a minute after the 2nd goal went in from Lascelles' header. A foul's been spotted on the far side by the referee. Chelsea free kick near to their penalty area. Caicedo back to Sanchez, the 2 former Brighton men. And they've beaten the Newcastle press there, they've done well. Into midfield, onto Fernandez. Palmer lets it run and then stabs it out to Sterling, who's gone to the right side. Broja at centre forward, Mudryk on the left wing. A couple of the Newcastle Academy players, Ben Parkinson, Alex Murphy, have come jogging back to the bench after a warm-up. 70th minute. Palmer and Fernandez now chips it into a channel for Broja to chase after. Cher sees him out to the wing. Livramento there too. Gordon's Chelsea have the ball on that far side. Now Sterling trying to get in. Brilliant recovery round the side from Livramento to get a boot to the ball. Gordon now to Bruno. He's tried to help it away. Gordon's kept it in and won a free kick from Reece James. And really giving their all once again, Newcastle. And that was defending at full stretch at times, but they did the job. If you want to get in touch with us on Twitter, now known as X, it's at BBC Newcastle. You can send us a WhatsApp message, put BBC at the start, 08000 321 333. And we'll read out some messages, take phone calls after the game. Badiashile to the goalkeeper, Sanchez, chipped out to Cucurella, header inside, Trippier's got there, just gave Mudryk a little touch, eased him out of it. Trippier down the line and took a nick off Mudryk, the blonde-haired Ukrainian with his gloves on. Crystal Palace with a goal disallowed at Luton, and now Luton have scored 1-0.
Just shows you, doesn't it?
Newcastle back to Pope. Cher to his left in the penalty area, receives the ball. The floodlights are on and a full moon is visible above St James's Park. Trippier with one for Miley to chase after and might get there ahead of Badiashile. He's forced him to play it back to the keeper. And Miley then closes down Sanchez, who has lifted it clear, and then it's lost by Reece James to Anthony Gordon, and the referee reaches into his pocket for a yellow card and a red for Reece James, a second yellow card for the Chelsea captain, and then the red for the foul on Anthony Gordon. Newcastle lead 3-1, and Chelsea will play the final part of the match with 10.
The first card is an absolute joke. I mean, he gets booked for mouthing off at the referee, and then he gives it away. It's a little bit unlucky, isn't he? It's a coming together. He gets across him. It's just that I don't think there's anything deliberate in it, but it's a yellow card. second yellow card and he's off.
Well, he was upset before half-time when Joe Linton got a bit rough with him in a foul. And he wanted, we think, Joe Linton to be sent off, and he had words with the Newcastle bench. Reece James, Jason Tindall just stares at him as he leaves the pitch. He was booed by the Newcastle fans at the end of the half, and now they are jeering as he makes his way off the pitch. Crystal Palace have equalised at Luton, it seems, within 2 minutes of going behind 1-1. No change elsewhere, but Chelsea with 10, Newcastle leading 3-1, and a free kick which Trippier sends in from the left and headed away, and a foul that the referee has seen, which was on Thiago Silva. Levi Colwill is about to be brought on, the defender who, from the Chelsea Academy, was on loan to Brighton last season and did very well. He's been capped by England. He's going to come on for Cole Palmer. Palmer, who won his first couple of England caps in the international break, hasn't had much of an impact on today's game.
Quiet, hasn't he?
Colwill has gone to left back, and the very left-sided, left-footed Mark Cucurella has gone to right back. Badia Shield for Chelsea from the free kick, which they play short. Mudryk, the heavy touch, and then Almiron wins it back. Bruno away from Colwill, back to Lascelles, lets it run. Broger's good 10 yards away, and skipper's got time to play it back to Pope. Bruno trying to get Gordon away from Cucurella. Lovely touch from Gordon to take it down and go on the outside. 20 yards from the Chelsea goal. Joe Linton to Livramento, who's in the attack now. This is Bruno. He's found Almiron in the box, down on his chest. Miley's available, so too is Trippier, who gets it from Almiron and is onside. Back to Almiron. Bruno edge of the box. Trippier's got space in the wide position for Miley. A cut back for Almiron, back to goal, lays it off. Bruno hits it, blocked on the way through. Bruno then wins it back. Bruno, can he take the shot on? Does it? This one's blocked as well, and Cucurella stabs it clear. And Cher now takes it on his chest, gets away from Caicedo. They want him to shoot, he's on a run. Oh, Fabian Cher, what an effort. Sanchez had to get down to beat the ball away. Took it with his left, Fabian Cher, and almost squeezed it into the bottom corner.
Oh, what an effort that is. Great feet. He's just dinked past a couple of Chelsea players, half-hearted tackled. Left fly with his left foot. Keeper makes a good save at his near post.
Joe Linton to Livramento. Oh, taken down by Cucurella near to the corner of the box. He tells the referee he is an innocent man, but Simon Hooper in no doubt that it was a foul. There's a conversation going on about the free kick now. But what skills from Cher. The ball bounced up onto his chest near the centre circle, away from Caicedo. Cucurella must have been booked there, and Cher
good save.
Powerful shot as well. It just wasn't quite, this is not a criticism, just wasn't quite in the corner. Cucurella being told he's an inferior version of Fabrizio Collicini, which is obviously because of their similar hairstyles. And Kieran Trippier with another Newcastle free kick. They've had loads around the penalty box today. 78th minute, trying to make it 4-1. Trippier flashed it in there, and it's headed out for a throw next to the corner flag on the near side.
Good delivery again, whipped into a dangerous area. It's Colwill who got the defensive header. Throw in this near side, in line with the edge of their 6-yard box.
Trippier the throw for Miley to try to get there. He's played it against Brocher and got a throw. Been a bit tougher for Lewis Miley today.
He's done all right, I think. I don't think he's done bad.
Saw more of the ball at Bournemouth, but he's got a different role today.
Yeah, I think he's done okay. I think he's been neat and tidy. He's kept it nice and simple.
Bruno back to Lascelles, takes a touch down the centre of their half, Newcastle. If you'd like to ring us to talk about the game, 0800 234 6565. It's BBC Radio Newcastle's number. Trippier from Cher's ball to the right wing. Chelsea have 10 men and Newcastle lead 3-1. Almiron drags it back a couple of times. Nearly gets tackled by Fernandez. Plays the ball to Lascelles. They want Cher to shoot again. He's picked out Livramento. Good ball. Livramento trying to hold off Cucurella. And it goes back to Fabian Cher. Now down the line for Joelinton. A couple of step overs. Cucurella with him. Inside to Bruno. He's got a man on. Sterling still has it, Bruno. And still. And now Trippier. Miley makes a run from Trippier's ball. Lewis Miley in the area. Oh, good tackle by Colwill, and then Gordon shoves Colwill to the floor and gives him a pat on the arm. It's an intelligent run by Miley, and knew the ball was going to go there and saw the space. Couldn't get the shot away though.
No, and then yet again he doesn't disguise it, Gordon. Just straight into his back. He's been shocking as well, Sterling.
I know he scored the goal, but he doesn't look interested.
No.
Nottingham Forest 2, Brighton 3. Forest have pulled one back. The ball was won back in midfield by Newcastle. Joelinton from Sterling, and then played back to Cher by Miley. Almiron's been caught, and the yellow card for, that's Colwill, isn't it? Or is it Fernandez?
Colwill.
It's Colwill. Levi Colwill. Foul on Almiron. Matt Ritchie's going to come on, might be for Isak, and Gordon probably through the middle, and that's what they're going to do. With 10 minutes remaining. Scored the first. It's a lovely turn and finish. I tried to give him the second goal, but it was Lascelles' header, and Isak leaves the pitch to a standing ovation with Newcastle 3-1 up.
Yeah, great little finish, took his goal well. Fabulous little ball from Miley as well. Disguised ball through. His touch was brilliant. From that moment on, there was only one outcome. Ball hit the back of the net.
Matt Ritchie's come onto the right side, and Miguel Almiron's gone to the left with Gordon at centre forward. 0800 234 6565. We'd love to talk to you on the phone between 5 and 6. Or on WhatsApp, put BBC at the start, 08000 321 333. Colwill with a header from Cher's diagonal ball that wouldn't quite come down for Ritchie. Chelsea playing the ball around near the centre circle. Enzo Fernandez with a turn. And then a pass to Thiago Silva. Sterling on halfway to Cucurella. And they sent Dummett to warm up Newcastle along with Diallo and
you wouldn't think they were 3-1 down, would you? Because they go backwards.
And they give it to the goalkeeper, then Badia Shiel. Now that's nice from Caicedo, from Mudryk, who can take Chelsea forwards with speed and with purpose, and feeds Sterling. Corner of the area, now along the 18-yard line, and there's Bruno, and there's Livramento, and Newcastle have the ball back, and Almiron away from Cucurella, and on to Bruno. Cucurella trying to recover with a challenge. Bruno's still got it, and it's quality from Bruno. Trippier down the right wing with Ritchie on the outside, into Miley, back to Trippier, and protecting the ball, Newcastle with their 3-1 lead. Chelsea with Reece James having been sent off for 2 bookable offences. Almiron, jinking run, and then a through ball for Gordon, sent him wide of goal, but into the penalty area. Ritchie far side, Gordon on his right.
Oh, great goal!
Anthony Gordon into the bottom corner. What a lovely finish. Played in behind. Looked like the angle was not favourable, but he found the space to shoot, wrapped his foot around it, and sticks the ball into the bottom corner. 83 minutes. Gordon with his 5th of the season. Newcastle United 4, Chelsea 1.
Oh, it's a great finish. Just cuts inside. No real backlift. Little daisy cutter into the, straight across the keeper into the bottom left-hand corner. Real good finish.
I don't think many people had 4-1 down for Newcastle today, but this is fantastic. And Gordon, having gone to centre forward like he did against Arsenal, has given them a goal following a change. And Paul Dummett is going to come on for a Premier League appearance shortly, having only featured so far in the League Cup this season. And Alex Murphy is going to make his senior debut in black and white. The teenage defender from Ireland, they signed him from Galway last summer, and he looked good in pre-season, Murphy. Chelsea trying to get one back. Mudryk and Broja, edge of the box. A chant aimed at the Chelsea fans who are leaving. Nick Pope now catches a ball that was dinked into the box. 5 minutes of normal time left, and a double change will be coming.
I think Lascelles is coming off. I think he's struggling, limping.
Yeah, he is limping. Share to Livramento. Almiron trying to get it back to the full-back. That's Gordon, laid off to Bruno. They're not content with 4, Newcastle. They're going to attack and try and get another. Ritchie on the outside of Trippier into space. It's come back inside to Bruno. Miley to Bruno and Trippier. Dummett and Murphy still wait to come on as the time ticks away. Whistle's gone for something.
He's going to have a word with
Simon Hooper.
Fernandez just had a little push on Guimaraes.
Burnley 1, West Ham 1. Here are the changes. Paul Dummett replaces Jamal Lascelles. Kieran Trippier gets the captain's armband. And Lascelles with a goal that really set them on their way in the second half, Ando.
Yeah, I mean, a great little header. But great ball played in. Just got his head on it, tucked it in the corner. Miguel Sterling's lasted as long as he has.
Miguel Almiron comes off and Alex Murphy comes on, and will go to left back. Dominic centre half with Cher and Livramento left wing, and Sterling Ando off for Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm amazed he's lasted as long as he has. He's been shocking.
And Sterling's replacement, by the way, is Noni Madueke, the England under-21 international forward. He was born in England, but he was at PSV Eindhoven, and Chelsea signed him for about £30 million in January. Very highly rated. Remember him from the game at Stamford Bridge on the final day of last season when he played against Newcastle. Paul Dummett, first Premier League appearance in way over a year and a half. It's February of last year, 2 seasons ago. And one of the Newcastle changes. Here he is on the ball, receiving it from Pope in the penalty box and bringing it forwards. Giving it to Bruno. Almiron applauded as he makes his way around the pitch. It's 4-1. Chelsea with 10 men. Bruno fouled. Free kick is given. Enzo Fernandez and Bruno having words again. This may well be carried over from the international through the week. it's all calmed down now. And they are going to take the free kick, Newcastle. 4-1 in front. Cher, back to Dummett. Murphy wants the ball. I'd like to get a touch. On his Premier League debut. West Ham have turned it around. They lead 2-1 at Burnley. This is Bruno. Dummett in the D is an option available behind. It's over the top for Gordon, but a backpedaling defender. Badiashile wins it, and then a foul on Miley, but Gordon has it, so they play on. Ritchie into the penalty area. Ritchie hangs up the cross, which is headed square by Thiago Silva. Now Trippier with a touch, and then it's cleared. Dummett header. Joelinton to Bruno. Ritchie is calling for it, and it comes his way. A minute of normal time remaining. Trippier and Ritchie, and now Bruno. Miley on the move, edge of the box. Joelinton's got a man on. He's pushed it out to Livramento. Murphy goes on the outside. Livramento comes in, and Bruno thought about the shot, feeds Ritchie, low cross, away by Chelsea. Then Trippier, deflected ball into the box, caught by Sanchez.
Yeah, good ball played in actually by Ritchie. Flat ball. Oh, they've given it away again.
Livramento back to Dummett, Cher rather, and now Joelinton. The game is won. It's 4-1 against 10 men, and Trippier to Bruno, looking at his options. It's Dummett now, and Murphy gets involved, the defender, for the first time. Here's the numbers board, a minimum of 5 additional minutes, enough time to get goal number 5, Newcastle. And the brilliant home record will continue this season. Be a 6th win at St James's. Bruno switches it, Murphy takes it down and passes it down the line to Livramento, who gives it back to the young Irishman, and this is Cher. Amadou Diallo, I think, might be coming on. He's coming back to the bench. He was about to take his bib and tracksuit top off. They are going to bring on another youngster. This is Bruno Guimaraes looking for Livramento in the area. Cucurella with the header, and then a couple of touches to bring the ball clear. There's going to be a double change. Michael Ndaiwan is going to come on too. Back it goes to Sanchez, closed down by Gordon, and then Trippier and Ritchie fouling Madueke in their desperation to try and get back. And
Ritchie's going to get booked.
I think Mudryk might get a yellow card for...
No, Ritchie's got booked because first he stopped and taken the ball, taking the free kick. First he fouled him, then he stopped and taking the free kick, then he kicked the ball away.
Yeah, it's just Mudryk's reaction, which sometimes is deemed worthy of a yellow card, but they can make the changes now, Newcastle. And here they are. And Ndaiwan will come on for Gordon. For the last couple of minutes. Forward from Tyneside, who's been through the academy, Michael Ndaiwan. And Lewis Miley replaced by Amadou Diallo. Big cheer for Miley and Diallo, former West Ham Academy player. This is his second season at Newcastle. On the left side, so Eddie Howe handing out Premier League debuts today. And Ben Parkinson, who came on at Bournemouth, stays on the bench. Back to the keeper, closed down by Ndaiwan. Really giving it everything. Chasing after the ball, foul by Alex Murphy on the far side. Free kick for Chelsea, in added on time. great experience for those young players.
Yeah, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
This is Madueke away from Murphy and charging towards goal. Stopped by Paul Dummett. What a tackle. Enzo Fernandez, tackle on Bruno. Newcastle through and Ndaiwani. And now Livramento reached the halfway line, trying to get forwards, maybe one last time. 4-1 up on BBC Radio Newcastle. Livramento's brought the ball back into space. Dropped it off at Joelinton's feet. Referee having a look at his watch. And having some possession in their half. Ritchie involved, Trippier into Bruno, lets it run and then gets it back from Joelinton. He's got runners through the middle. You want the ball played. You're just keeping it, Newcastle. Diallo goes into space on the right side. They have it in the centre of midfield with Trippier. Share now, Diallo could have it down the line, gets his first touch. Back to Share, into Trippier. On halfway, up to Bruno. Takes it and the tackle comes in from Caicedo. Bruno then with a slide.
He wasn't brave, was he?
Madueke didn't fancy that.
They haven't got many brave boys in blue, have they?
Jumping out of the way of challenges.
Oh, just a bit.
4-1 to Newcastle against Chelsea's 10 men. Joelinton, Diallo beaten to it by Colwill. Then Mudryk, the £89 million man. Playing it back, Thiago Silva away, there's Paul Dummett on his chest to Bruno. Matt Ritchie. Chelsea through Enzo Fernandez win the ball back. And Mudryk away from Trippier. And he's got plenty of space, Mihailo Mudryk. An option to the right, Madueke. That's where it goes.
Oh, dear.
But it is in fact won by Alex Murphy, who carries the ball forwards, and that is the end of the game. A fantastic result for Newcastle United, no doubt about it, under the pressure of a lengthy injury list and at the start of an intense month up to Christmas. They have beaten Chelsea convincingly by 4-1. Reece James sent off for 2 bookable offences in the second half, and then they got their 4th goal, but they were well on the way before the red card. 1-1 at half-time. Isak with the opener and Sterling with an equaliser, but Jamal Lascelles responding to a couple of shaky moments, headed in to make it 2-1, and then a minute later Joelinton nicked the ball back and charged through and smashed it home for 3-1, and that was it really. Then Anthony Gordon curling the ball into the bottom corner to make it 4-1. I mean, it looks comfortable. Chelsea weren't great, Ando, but it's just the tonic for Newcastle, given the problems and challenges that they have been experiencing in recent weeks.
Second half they were great. Unbelievable second half. They totally controlled all of the second half, had all the ball. Seen nothing of Chelsea whatsoever. Put Chelsea under so much pressure, didn't give them time on the ball. Won it back high up the pitch, every available opportunity, and deservedly won, and could have won it by more. You know, yeah, okay, Chelsea defensively were a shambles, but that's down to the fact that we put so much pressure on them that they gave the ball away in bad areas, and we took control of that situation. They got the goals from it, and look, can have no complaints whatsoever. The better side on the day won. As I say, second half they were absolutely brilliant.
And we talked a lot in the build-up to the game, and fans have been on Total Sport on BBC Radio Newcastle since the Bournemouth match and before, really, about the injury list and all the quality players that are missing. But I suppose what today shows, and you will take into account Chelsea's performance and limitations, but that whoever's out there, you really ought not to doubt this team and what they can deliver.
Look, you can have all the ability in the world, but if you don't have the desire and the work rate to go with it, those in black and white had all those attributions, those in blue didn't.
A brilliant result, and Paris Saint-Germain away on Tuesday is next for Newcastle United, who've beaten Chelsea by 4-1.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Well then, the very definition of mixed fortunes. Newcastle turned Chelsea over with 2 goals in 2 minutes and go up to 6th in the Premier League. 4-1 victory and 4 different goal scorers as well. Have a chat with John Anderson about that and how much of a confidence boost it is ahead of the mammoth Champions League tie in Paris on Tuesday. But for Sunderland players and fans, it is a long journey home from Plymouth. A 2-0 defeat. Gary Bennett is standing by to have a chat with you. What went wrong? There might be a simple answer to that, actually, but we will see. Give us a call. 0800 234 6565 is the number to have a chat with either Gary or John. 0800 234 6565. If you can't give us a call, then a message is the next best thing. If it's a WhatsApp message, it's 08000 321 333, 08000 321 333. For an SMS message, it's 81333, 81333. In both cases, start your messages with the letters BBC.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Welcome to lovely guests into the studio. Jimmy Nail and the writer of shows like The Likely Lads, Solvida's Impact, of course, Ian LaFredi.
Gilly Hope.
I'm going to take you back to 1991. And in the centre of Newcastle, there was the filming of Spender. You reunited with one of the dancers.
You can't throw this at me after 32 years.
She was cast. If she hadn't been, this would have been really uncomfortable.
Would have been, wouldn't it?
Yes, you could have hit the cutting room floor. That would have been even more awkward.
Well, it would have been.
It?
I had 2 lines and I swore, and my nana said to us, you know what, Jill? I've been telling everyone at the bingo that you're on Spender, and you swore. She was going to give us a clip.
Gilly Hope.
Saturday and Sunday mornings from 6.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And so at St James's Park this afternoon, it finished Newcastle 4, Chelsea 1. Alexander Isak, Jamal Lascelles, Joe Linton and Anthony Gordon, the Newcastle goal scorers. No goal scorers for Sunderland, though, at Plymouth, beaten 2-0. That was the half-time score and the full-time score. Reminder of that phone number, 0800 234 6565. You've got a good 45 minutes to come on and have a chat with John Anderson and Gary Bennett. Elsewhere across the country, then, we will begin in the Premier League, where the early game saw Manchester City and Liverpool draw 1-1. Erling Haaland midway through the first half scoring for Manchester City. Trent Alexander-Arnold equalising with 10 minutes remaining, and it finished Man City 1, Liverpool 1. In the 3 o'clock kickoffs, West Ham left it very late, but they did turn it round to win 2-1 at Burnley. They went 1-0 down 4 minutes into the second half, a J. Rodriguez penalty, but then in the 86th minute, an own goal from Dara O'Shea was West Ham's equaliser, and Thomas Soucek scored the winner in the 90th minute. So West Ham United winning 2-1 away at Burnley. Luton Town against Crystal Palace had a mighty second half in it as well. Crystal Palace initially having a goal from Anton Edouard ruled out by the video assistant referee. They then went a goal down 5 minutes later through Teden Mengi. That was Luton leading. 2 minutes after that, Crystal Palace equalised through Michael Olasey, but then Luton Town scored the winner, Jacob Brown, with 7 minutes to go, making the difference. So Luton Town 2, Crystal Palace 1. And Nottingham Forest 2, Brighton 3 wasn't a bad game either. Forest had the lead after 3 minutes through Anthony Elanga, an equaliser from Evan Ferguson after 26 minutes. They took the lead on the stroke of half-time through João Pedro, who then made it 3-1 with a penalty on the hour mark. Morgan Gibbs-White scored a penalty of his own to make it Forest 2, Brighton 3. Lewis Dunk was sent off just before that penalty as well, but Brighton held out for the final 20 minutes or so with 10 men and win 3-2 at Nottingham Forest. And Bournemouth scored 3 away from home as well. Marcus Tavernier got 2 of them, former Newcastle United youngster, and Justin Kluivert, the son of Patrick Kluivert, scored their middle goal as they won 3-1 at Sheffield United. It was a very late consolation goal for Ollie McBurney. And Brentford against Arsenal is the 5:30 kickoff.
Total Sport North East.
Call free 0800 234 6565.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Some late goals in the Championship as well. There were lots of late goals at the end of the first halves in the Championship. Birmingham City have beaten Sheffield Wednesday by 2-1. George Byers giving Sheffield Wednesday the lead in the first minute of first half injury time, but then a minute later, before the first half had ended, Birmingham had equalised through Janina Bakuna, and then Jordan James scoring Birmingham's winner at 9 minutes from the end. Middlesbrough 3-2 defeat at Bristol City, and that is despite coming back from 2-0 down to be drawing 2-2. So 2 goals for Bristol City in the last 8 minutes of the first half. It was 2-0 at the break. Then Middlesbrough scored twice in the first 7 minutes of the second half, and all of a sudden it was 2-2. Matt Crooks following on from a Zach Viner own goal. But then Mark Sykes scored again for Bristol City after 67 minutes, and that is how it finished. Bristol City 3, Middlesbrough 2. Huddersfield 1, Southampton 1 is a full-time score. Adam Armstrong, former Newcastle striker, scoring for Southampton on the stroke of half-time. Ben Jackson with 3 minutes to go in the second half, equalising though for Huddersfield. Sunderland taking on Huddersfield on Wednesday evening. Leicester City back to winning ways, beat Watford 2-0. 2 Jamie Vardy goals, the second one coming from the penalty spot. Coventry City a comfortable 3-0 win away at Millwall. Matt Godden in the first half, Tatsuhiro Sakamoto and Ben Sheaf in the second. Norwich City 1-0 winners over Queen's Park Rangers. Wee Jo Hwang with their goal midway through the first half. Cardiff City left it very, very late, but they did win away at Preston in the final couple of minutes of the game, as I desperately try and find who it was that scored their other goal. Milutin Osmajic gave Preston the lead after 48 minutes, so 3 minutes into the second half. But then 4 minutes after that, Robbie Brady was sent off, and it all went a bit wrong after that, because Carlin Ahern-Grant equalised for Cardiff City, and I found it. Ike Ugbo scored the winner for Cardiff City deep into injury time, so Cardiff City win 2-1 away at Preston. Much more comfortable for Blackburn, though. They were 3-0 winners away at Stoke City. Scott Wharton really early on after just 4 minutes, and then Andrew Moran and Sami Smodjic in the final 5 minutes, making sure for Blackburn. And it did in the end finish Swansea City 2, Hull City 2. Swansea were 2-0 up after less than 25 minutes. Jamie Patterson and Jerry Yates. Jaden Philogene-Bides equalising for, getting one back for Hull City. Tyler Morton with the equaliser with 20 minutes to go, and that is how it finished. At 5:30 in the Championship, it's West Brom against Ipswich.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into League One then, and there was a full card of fixtures today, starting alphabetically, at least with Bolton Wanderers 7-0 thumping of Exeter City. A couple in the middle there for Dion Charles, but Bolton, they were only 2 up at half-time, but a thumping second half 5-0 win, so 7-0 in total. Carlisle United won, Charlton Athletic won their first match under new owners. Carlisle United in front of a crowd of 10,500 at Brunton Park, and they drew 1-all. Sam Lavelle equalised for them after the hour mark, and so it finished Carlisle 1, Charlton Athletic 1. Cheltenham Town 2-0 winners over Oxford United. That's despite having their original goal scorer sent off at half-time, but they did score a second. Oxford had gone down to 10 men earlier on as well. Derby County beat Bristol Rovers by 2-1, but only because Nathaniel Mendez-Lang scored in the very last minute to make it 2-1. Chris Martin, formerly of Derby, now of Bristol Rovers, had scored the equaliser a couple of minutes beforehand. Stevenage were comfortable 3-0 winners away at Fleetwood. Elliot List with the third in the 95th minute. Leyton Orient 1, Wigan Athletic 1 was the half-time score and the full-time score. Lincoln City 2, Barnsley 2. Northampton beat 10-man Cambridge United 2-1, but it was already 2-1 before Cambridge had their man sent off. Peterborough 4-0 winners over Burton Albion, and Blackpool 4-0 winners away at Portsmouth as well. Portsmouth played the last half hour or so with 10 men. Shrewsbury beat Port Vale 2-1, Max Mata and Daniel Udo with their goals, and Wycombe Wanderers won Reading 2. Lewis Wing, formerly of the Northern League, scoring Reading's second. In League 2, AFC Wimbledon beat Notts County by 4-2. Macaulay Langstaff got one for Notts County, but they were already 2-0 down at that point. Bradford City beat Accrington Stanley 1-0. Barrow scored 3 times in the last 5 minutes to beat Colchester United 4-1 away from home. Crawley Town 2, Harrogate Town 1. Jack Muldoon's equaliser on the stroke of half-time, not counting for anything in the end. Conor O'Riordan scored a 92nd minute winner for Crewe Alexandra. They beat Doncaster Rovers 3-2. Grimsby and Sutton United was 1 apiece. Newport County beat Stockport County 2-1, and that was a very late consolation for Stockport. MK Dons 4-2 winners away at Salford City. Swindon, a very late winner, beating Mansfield Town 2-1. Tranmere 3-1 winners over Gillingham. Goalless between Walsall and Forest Green Rovers, and there was a hat-trick for Paul Mullen as Wrexham beat Morecambe 6-0.
Total Sport North East.
Get the latest team news, score updates and post-match reaction on Twitter at BBC Newcastle.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into non-league then, Gateshead do not win their 4th match in a row. It's a 1-1 draw at home to Southend United in the end. Stephen Wern with the early goal, relatively early goal, after about 15 minutes for Gateshead. Harry Cardwell with the equaliser with 15 minutes to go, but it is still 10 points from a possible 12 in the last couple of weeks. It is not bad going, really. It is quite bad going for South Shields. They've now lost the 2nd consecutive game, 1-0 as well, this time at home to Chester. Also in National League North, Blythe Spartans 2, Peterborough Sports 3. They were 2-0 down, then midway through the second half they brought it back to 2-2. JG O'Donnell and Cedric Main with Blythe's goals, but then they went and conceded a third. So Blythe Spartans 2, Peterborough Sports 3. Morpeth Town beaten 2-1 at Hyde United, that's despite an equaliser from Vinnie Steels. Hebburn won 3-0 away at Belper Town. Amar Purwal, Robbie Spence and Liam Murray with the goals. Consett beat Carlton Town 2-1. This is all in the NPL East Division. Scott Fennick and Jack Gibbons. Dunstan eventually ran out 3-0 winners away at Winterton Rangers, who had their goalkeeper sent off after 23 minutes. Chris McDonald, Jack Maskell with the first two, and the final goal for Dunstan came from Dale Pearson deep into injury time as well. The 4th game that we were keeping an eye on in the NPL East Division was our featured game at Woodhorn Lane. Ashington were hosting Liversedge, but our non-league reporter Paul Dixon can tell us how it ended. Paul.
Well, it's disappointing news, Colin. 5 games undefeated, but not today. It was Ashington 0, Liversedge 2, and I think they just about deserved their victory this afternoon. But it could have been different. Ashington on 40 minutes. Brilliant run down the right side by Connor Thompson. Pulled the ball back to top scorer Wilson Nishaw, who shot cannoned off the crossbar. Very, very unlucky not to put the home team ahead. And then on 45 plus 4, and I'm not really sure where the referee got the 4 minutes from, corner on the right-hand side, missed by Ashington keeper Carl Dryden, and the ball fell to Joe Walton at the back, who just headed the ball into the net. 1-0 at half-time, and I think that goal disturbed Ashington a little bit at half-time, because in the second half, Liversedge really took the game to Ashington. Joe Walton in on goal, should have scored, but the ball was cleared off the line by Carl Ross. A real another let-off for Ashington. And then Liversedge again on 82 minutes should have scored. Nicholson in on goal, fired high over the bar, but a minute later he made the difference when he slotted the ball in at the back post after a great run by Alfie Rowe. 411 supporters here. I think there was about 50 from Liversedge. They'll go home happy, and Ashington will have to pick themselves back up. Full-time score, Ashington 0, Liversedge 2.
Paul, thank you very much indeed. Bit of a mixed bag as far as non-league is concerned in the North East this afternoon. We'll go through all of those scores and get some reaction in our local football roundup at 5:45.
Total Sport North East.
Call free 0800 234 6565.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
But between now and 5:45, that is the number we want you to call, 0800 234 6565, to have a chat with either, or perhaps both, John Anderson and Gary Bennett, with contrasting games to talk about. But good evening, both of you.
Hey, Colin.
Hello, Colin. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Gary, I'm going to come back to you in a minute or two because, John, we're going to start with the good news, which is that Newcastle United have thumped Chelsea and were very good value for it.
Absolutely, yeah, without a doubt. First half, got ourselves in front, gave a bad goal away. But second half, we totally controlled the game. We were aggressive, we won the ball high up the park. Chelsea didn't want to win any 50-50s. They didn't want to tackle. They didn't want to chase. They didn't want to harry. And as I said at the end to Razor, you can have good players. You can have as many good players as you want. But if you don't have the heart and you don't have the will to go and win tackles and put your body on the line, you're not going to do much. And that's what Chelsea did. They didn't want any of that. We were prepared to go and work hard, play when we had the ball, and we were worthy winners. I mean, nobody would have predicted a 4-1 win at the beginning of the game. I kept asking people during the week on Total Sport whether they'd take a point or not, and a lot of people said, oh, absolutely, yeah, we would take a point. We've got our injury problems, there's no doubt about it, but when you looked at that starting 11, there were 7 internationals in that starting 11.
Yes, and I know this is a point you made towards the end of the commentary as well, is that that bench, which was short of, let's say, match-winning quality or proven match-winning quality, wasn't ultimately needed in the end for that purpose.
Yeah, and look, at the end he could afford to throw a couple of kids on. You know, great experience for them. Something they'll never ever forget, whether they get the opportunity to ever do it again or not. You know, they can always say that they played in a Premier League game in front of 50,000 at St James's. You know, so great experience for them. I thought Livramento again came in at left back and was smoking a cigar all day. You know, he was absolutely, he never broke sweat. Young Miley in the middle of the park kept it nice and simple, didn't complicate things. Excellent. Good to have Isak back.
Yeah.
You know, the goal that he got was quality. The ball from young Miley, so well disguised. Great little, straight little ball, straight to the heart of that Chelsea defence, and a great finish. You know, so yeah, loads of bonuses today, without a shadow of a doubt. But it doesn't get any easier, does it, with the games that are coming up?
Yeah, and just one more before we switch to Sunderland again, because you talked about the couple of the youngsters that came off the bench. I mean, one of them started in Lewis Miley. He's got a tiny bit more experience than some of the others, but a first home Premier League start. How did he do?
Yeah, did very well. Did very well. He, you know, I think he kept it nice and simple. He got the ball, he passed it. Some of his runs were really intelligent, and the ball for Isak's goal was sublime. You know, he's just threaded the eye of a needle with it, and once it's got to Isak, there was only one outcome. Look, we spoke about young Miley before. He's a boy who's got a big future in the game. There's no doubt about that, and I think he showed an awful lot of his qualities here today.
The number to call is 0800 234 6565 to come on and wax lyrical about Newcastle United or a particular aspect of this afternoon's performance and result, that 4-1 win over Chelsea. Unfortunately, Gary Bennett, there's not a huge amount to wax lyrical about as far as Sunderland are concerned, because we've just said that Newcastle were worthy winners. Plymouth were probably worthy winners as well. It's hard to argue against that, isn't it?
I won't say they were worthy winners. What they were clinical.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the game, you know, I would imagine the stats would show that with percentage-wise, possession-wise, you know, we dominated the game. What we couldn't do, we weren't clinical in the box. You know, you look at the two strikes which they had, you know, clinical. You know, they put the foot through the ball. You know, the amount of opportunities we had which fell to us, and we scuffed the ball, we didn't have enough power, we didn't work the goalkeeper, you know.
Cleared.